bombs. Wake up, word and Solomon Jones. Word. You better wake up now.
You're here because you know something. What you know you can't explain, but you feel it. You felt it your entire life. That there's something wrong with the world. You don't know what it is, but it's there. You can feel it.
Get up on out the bed and start to move your balls. Wake up, word and Solomon Jones. Word. You better wake up now.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD, Kawesa. Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing okay.
Doing good. All right.
You breathing hard for me. You're like, what is he doing? Oh, God. Oh, Lord. Happy Veterans Day to all of the veterans, all of the people who have served our country honorably and well and have placed their lives on the line for the rest of us and for the freedoms that we enjoy. We appreciate each and every one of you, and we appreciate your sacrifice, and we appreciate your service. Just a whole lot going on this week, Kawesa. Stories that I have not even been able to put into the rundown. I don't know if you saw the video over the weekend of the substitute teacher in Texas.
No.
Who punched a girl in the face repeatedly.
What?
And then stomped on her head when she fell on the ground. The teacher was black.
Oh, my God.
And she was a woman, and the student, I believe, was black as well. But just a heinous thing to see, man. If you don't love kids, right? Don't be a teacher, and especially don't be a substitute, because the kid's gonna give you a hard time as a substitute. That's just what they're gonna do. When the cat's away, the mice will play. But I'm watching this and seeing it, and I'm like, oh, my Lord, our kids are in trouble, man. Our kids are in trouble because some of us hate our own. Some of us hate ourselves. Some of us have kind of internalized the racism that we've seen in this society, and we turn it on each other. So that's something I want to kind of talk about as we get a little further on into the show. But I just need to make this announcement. Popeyes is a dangerous place. Not only was a black man stabbed when someone cut in the chicken sandwich line in Maryland, a white woman was body slammed in a Popeyes parking lot after she called some employees the N-word in Columbia, Tennessee. Now, according to witnesses, the woman was attempting to dispute a charge on her bill, leading to a heated argument. Several workers asked her to leave, but before she left, the woman reportedly called the employees the N-word. What'd she do that for? Several employees followed her to the parking lot, including a man who picked her up and threw her down on the pavement. The altercation was caught on video. In the footage, a man off camera can be heard saying, "You in the wrong place," saying the N-word. And according to the police, the alleged attacker is a 29-year-old man named Darius Hughes. Hughes is currently facing aggravated assault charges. The woman's attorney told the ABC affiliate that his client's words don't justify Hughes' response. He claims that the attack caused the woman to suffer 9 fractures because he threw her on the ground real hard. Like, she bounced literally off the ground. Yeah, he threw her that hard, right? And 9 fractures, a broken knee, and 6 broken ribs. And you know what? Maybe the lawyer's right. Maybe the brother could have reacted differently. But there's one thing that I'm sure about. That lady won't be calling anybody else the N-word after this, because sometimes the best lessons come the hard way. We got a hot show for you today on Wake Up with Word. Natalie Wilson of the Black and Missing Foundation on the underreporting of missing black people. Lawyer and critical race theorist Dr. Tim Golden on the 14-year-old arrested for a mysterious murder. Joan Hardaway of North City Congress on saving her organization. And as always, we got you, our listeners, calling in at 215-634-8065 or toll free 1-866-361-0900. Hit us on Twitter and Instagram at onWURD, or you can hit me personally at Solomon Jones 1. Watch us on Facebook at onWURD. But first, it's the big 3, the news stories you need to know to kick off your day right here on Wake Up with Word. Story number 1, Marquise Jefferson, the father of Tatiana Jefferson, died Saturday at the age of 59. Many are saying he died of a broken heart. Marquise Jefferson suffered a cardiac arrest and was taken to a hospital in Dallas on Friday night. His death comes less than a month after his daughter was fatally shot by a police officer in her home in Fort Worth, Texas. Tatiana Jefferson was his only child. He ultimately just succumbed to, I don't know, I can only say a broken heart, said his lawyer. He just never recovered from the grieving process. A lot of people with broken hearts in our community, Kawesa, but this is awful.
Yeah, it's awful. It's sad, and for anyone who's not familiar with the story, she was in the house with her nephew, and the cops didn't announce themselves, and shot her and killed her. So it really is sad, and the fact that this father and people can, and that's what we talk about, right? When we're talking about violence in our community, it doesn't just hurt the person that you kill; it also hurts all of the branches, right? That tree was rooted from. So it's completely sad to me. It really is.
It is. It is. Tatiana Jefferson shot through the window of her home as she's inside watching her 8-year-old nephew, who was there as well. That little boy, traumatized, will remember that for the rest of his life. And again, that's why we are addressing the issue of violence. November 18th, we're going to be coming together at Community College of Philadelphia for Man Up PHL. It's time for brothers to come together and deal with some of the violence that's happening within our community. But this was horrible. Story number 2. Speaking of violence, a 14-year-old girl was arrested and charged with murder after police say she tied down and killed a 59-year-old Philadelphia man known for his animal rescue efforts. Philadelphia police said they responded early November 5th to a report of a man in distress. Police entered the home and found a man later identified as Albert Chernoff, partially tied to the bed with a massive head wound and several slashes to his chest. He was pronounced dead at the scene. A female was seen leaving the property. It turned out that it was a 14-year-old girl. She was arrested November 8th, and a preliminary hearing is scheduled for November 27th. Here's my question. This 14-year-old was in his house, right? Did she tie him to the bed and overpower him by herself? Did he allow her to tie him to the bed? Were they engaged in some kind of activity together? Was he, in fact, not just this animal rescuer as he is being portrayed in the news, but the question has to be asked, was he molesting this child, right? Was he engaged in some activity with this child? And again, it's not something that I'm saying. Her lawyer is also bringing up this question. It's a very sad situation. Troubled girl. There's a reason police aren't saying much, said the girl's lawyer, Howard Taylor. There's a lot more to it. That's what he told CNN. When asked whether she was a victim, he said he wouldn't put it to that extent, but added that he wasn't totally innocent either. And I understand he was an animal rescuer. God bless him. I understand that he should not have died that way. Killing someone is wrong, right? Unless it's in self-defense. But what was a 14-year-old doing in your house? Comfortable in your house, walking around in your house, right? That's the question I gotta ask, Kawesa. I hate to have to ask it like that, but it's the question I gotta ask.
I mean, I think that it's a valid question, and I think that we just kind of need to see what transpires from the case and see what happens, because it's very suspect, right? How did you get on the bed? And you're right, did she overpower him? I don't. That's a hard pill for me to swallow.
Right.
It really is. So I don't know what happened. I'm going to reserve comment. I know that me personally, I don't want to see anyone who's under the age of 18 being charged as an adult at all. That's my opinion. So we'll see what happens.
We will see what happens. One of the things that's kind of disturbing me about this case, and I'm in the media. So I have seen some of these decisions made as to how things will be covered. As to whether or not you're going to use somebody's name, as to whether or not you're going to show their face, as to whether or not you are going to present them in a certain way. And so my understanding is that certain outlets have published this girl's face. She's 14 years old, right? Now, other outlets have not. But if you're publishing this girl's face, I got a problem with that because you wouldn't do it if she was white. I just got to be honest. So we're going to talk about that as well. But I got to talk about story number 3. I'm tripping off the fact that we out here telling black people not to support black movies. The latest example is the rash of black folks on social media telling African Americans not to support Harriet, the biopic about the woman who led so many slaves to freedom, they called her Moses. Now, here's a movie with a black producer, black writer, black director, and a black cast, and y'all out here saying it's not black enough. Mad because the star is from Britain instead of America. Mad because she said something stupid on Twitter a billion years ago. Mad because the movie actually showed that there were blacks and whites on both sides of the slavery divide. Mad because the writer put in some fiction to give the story some spice. But the same folks telling us to boycott a positive black film are the same ones who won't say anything about the movies that have no black people. Y'all run and support a Star Wars flick with 2 black people in the whole universe. Y'all all grew up watching the Dukes of Hazzard with a whole Confederate flag on the car. Y'all watched Clint Eastwood even after he insulted Obama by talking to a chair. You watched Seinfeld reruns even after you heard Kramer went racist when a black man heckled him at a comedy show. I ain't seen y'all boycott one white movie, but the black ones, y'all boycott them all day. You boycotted Birth of a Nation because the star was tried for rape 20 years ago and was found not guilty. You boycott BET's butt-shaking videos, but run to see 50 Shades of Grey. But the craziest thing I've heard yet is that we're boycotting Harriet because Comcast is behind it, and Comcast is being sued for racism by Byron Allen, a charge Comcast denies. But here's the thing. If y'all was really boycotting Comcast, would you just boycott one film, or would you call and have your cable disconnected? Wouldn't you refuse to watch anything by Universal since Comcast owns that studio? Maybe, just maybe, we being played, and the people pushing against this film aren't black at all. But you make up your own mind about that for yourself. As for me, I have a simple rule of thumb. If black folks are the creators, if black folks are getting paid, if the message about us is positive, I'm willing to give it a play. We do that much for everybody else. We got to learn to do it for us, too. I want to hear from you. Give me a call, 215-634-8065. That's 215-634-8065. That is the number you got to call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. I mean, feel how you want to feel about that particular film, but here's my question. And I'm going to ask you, Kawesa, when the last time you seen black folks boycotting a white movie?
That's actually a really good question. Yeah, that is a good question. I don't know. Nope, I can't think of any really off the top of my head. So this is a bit of a predicament. I know that for me, and we've talked about it offline, but for me, I don't want to play checkers with this. I want to play chess with it. I know the importance of making sure that our stories are told, and by boycotting and the movie not making money, that means that other production companies might not want to pick up our stories. They might not want to tell our stories. So it's hard for me, because then there's the other part of me that is highly concerned about the fact that if Byron Allen does lose, it could potentially put us in a really bad predicament with that 1866 clause. And so I don't know how I feel about it. It's a very difficult situation for me, and but I also know how important it is to make sure that when we're telling our stories, we tell them right. So I don't the fact that we have black folks who were involved in all of this, and they put some spice in it. I'm using air quotes. They put some spice, but the story was spicy enough in and of itself. It's Harriet Tubman. You don't need to add extra flair to it. It's Harriet Tubman. She is the true quintessential shero for black folks. And so, I'm conflicted. I am.
I'm not. See, my thing is this, that we have to support our own. I mean, it really does come down to that. You know what I mean? Now, you got other folks, they going to support their own, right or wrong. They support them, they wrong. Wrong as I don't know what. They support them anyway, right? I think we have to learn to support our people, right? And I don't mind us having different opinions about it. I don't mind us looking at it in many different ways. I think there's a lot of levels of this, Kwesa, and I think you laid them out well. But at the end of the day, we got to support our own. My question is, when do we put our energy into boycotting any white film, TV show, anything? I haven't seen it in my lifetime. And I've been around for a minute, right? I haven't seen it. We don't boycott white stuff. We boycott our own stuff, but we won't boycott nobody else's. I don't understand it. I've never seen anything like our folk when it comes to stuff like this. We will tear down our own stuff. All it takes is a rumor. You know what I mean? Somebody like, oh, it's a white savior in that movie. No, it's not. No, it's not. Like, what are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, you know, if you want to boycott it for legitimate reasons, you don't like the fictional characters that were put in, okay. You know what I mean? But to try to trash it to other folk and tell other folk, nah, well, don't support this because, I don't like it. You know, I just think we have to learn to use your term, Kwesa, play chess and not checkers. Like, not just look at it on one level, but I think look at it on multiple levels, man, and see what is the best thing we can do to help our people. And again, if you don't like it, go make your own. You can make your own flick. Go, you know what I mean? Go raise the money. You know what I mean? Hire a crew. We got some black directors right here in Philadelphia. Shout out to Rel Dowdell and others, right? Go make your own. I mean, I just think that we have to learn how to support our own people and our own stuff. So I just need to say that. The other thing I want to say is this. It's Veterans Day. I want you to shout out your veterans. Give us a call, 215-634-8065. Shout out the veterans in your family, in your community. Who are they? Give them a shout out. Give them some credit. Give them some honor for what they have done in serving this country. And you know what takes me out is that on Veterans Day, right, we are actually sitting here watching a president in office who is just trashing the very Constitution that people gave their lives for on battlefields all around the world. People dying in places they can't even pronounce for this Constitution, for this country, for the freedoms that we have here. Yeah, it's not perfect. Yeah, there's racism. Yeah, there's classism. Yeah, there's all of that. But you got people who have died to try to make it better, and then you got a guy sitting in office just trashing all of it. I want to know what you think about that, right? 215-634-8065. That's 215-634-8065. I'm Solomon Jones. We'll be right back.
At Dietz & Watson, we've spent over 75 years focusing on the details. This can be traced back to our founder, Gottlieb Dietz, who learned how to make franks and sausages the right way in Germany. Today, each one of our delicious offerings is meticulously crafted using perfected details. Because if it isn't good enough for our family, it isn't good enough for yours. To us, the details make all the difference.
WordRadio.com.
Planning a trip? Make sure you have everything you need. Sunscreen? Check. Charger? Check. ID? After October 1st, 2020, you'll need a Real ID driver's license or photo ID card or another TSA-approved form of ID to board a domestic flight. If you want to keep using your PA driver's license or ID card to fly, you may want to upgrade it to a Real ID. For more information on how to get started, visit penndot.gov/RealID.
Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
Tom has been a teacher for over 40 years. One day, I think one of the students had asked the question and he didn't remember the answer. And I also noticed that he was letting his class out earlier than they were supposed to let out. I was really starting to worry.
Levi and I talked about how it would change our lives, but he was there beside me.
When something feels different, it could be Alzheimer's. Now is the time to talk. Visit alz.org/ourstories to learn more. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Now, a traffic update on Word Radio. Good morning. This report sponsored by Doctor Patient Unity. A couple of busy spots here in Philadelphia. Looking at the Boulevard Route 1 southbound, delays brought down through Fox, Schuylkill Expressway eastbound, Lake Montgomery through Girard, westbound, busy University through Southampton City out to Belmont, westbound Vine Lake Parkway through the Schuylkill Expressway. Southbound 95, that's busy from Betsy Ross through Girard. Northbound 95 in Bucks County, right near 413, there is an accident off to the shoulder. 55 northbound Deptford in the 42, a heavy ride there this morning. 42 northbound between 55 and 295, a bit slow into Philadelphia. No major problems yet on the area bridges. Doctors support removing patients from surprise medical billing disputes so independent healthcare experts resolve disagreements with insurance companies. The insurance company's solution is to pay less for your health care. Tell Congress, stand with doctors and patients to end surprise billing, paid for by Doctor Patient Unity. For more traffic information, log on to sigalert.com. I'm Jim Bachman with your Philadelphia area traffic.
It's Wake Up with Word, hosted by Solomon Jones. Right now on Word Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM and 96.1 FM WURD. It is Veterans Day. My grandfather, and I didn't find this out until recently. I knew that he had served in the Navy, right? He served in the Navy. He comes home, right? Can't find a job, got a family to support, goes back and enlists in the Army. My grandfather served in both the Army and the Navy. So happy Veterans Day. Rest in peace, Grandpa. Love you, man. Just a hard worker, somebody who I just truly admired and appreciate him and just everything that he did to lay a foundation for our family. Father served in the Army. Appreciate him. My uncle served in the Navy. Appreciate him. And just everybody who has served this country, despite the fact, right, that the country wasn't necessarily serving us. So I want to hear from you. I want to hear how you feel about Veterans Day, because one of the greatest lines from one of the movies about the Tuskegee Airmen was a line where I believe the black general that was dealing with them said, I know how I feel about my country, but I don't know how my country feels about me. Something like that. Y'all get that line right for me. Give me a call. Let me know. 215-634-8065. That's 215-634-8065. The other question I have, and it just hit me last night. When have you seen black folk boycott a white movie? Because I keep seeing us boycotting our own. I do. But I have not seen us do that. I mean, people can insult us, just dog us, not include us, and we won't boycott their stuff, but we boycott our own. I'm trying to understand that too. Give me a call, 215-634-8065. That's 215-634-8065, and let us know where you are on that question as well. So we're talking about that. We're taking your calls. You can, of course, also weigh in on Facebook at onWURD. That's FORWURD, FORWURD. That's where you can weigh in on anything that we are talking about on this morning's show. 215-634-8065 is the number, and we are going to go to the phone lines. Talk to Fran from West Philly on line 2. Go ahead, Fran. Go ahead, Fran.
Good morning, Solomon. How are you?
Good, and you?
I'm good. My father, he served in World War II, and he was in the Navy.
Mm-hmm.
And he could only be a cook at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Familiar with that?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, and I know that they was, there's this thing that's going on in regards to they were being addressed as the Negro in the Navy. Have you heard that before?
Yeah. What's your point?
So just wanted to honor my father. Say, I'm very proud of him for serving his country. He's not with us any longer, but, this is his day to be commemorated. So thank you.
All right. Well, thank you so much. And I appreciate your call this morning on WURD Radio. I'm going to go back to the phone lines and talk to Tyreek from North Philly on line 3. Go ahead, Tyreek.
Yeah, how you doing, Solomon?
Good, man. How you doing?
Yeah, I can't complain at all. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
There you go.
Yeah, so I just wanted to say that I'm a kid who came up under a veteran of Vietnam.
Okay.
My uncle, when I was the first male born in my grandmother's side of the family in 39 years.
Wow.
So my uncle wasn't there initially when, from doing so many tours. I'm a 70s baby. From doing so many tours and stuff, he wasn't there initially. But once I got to know my uncle, he laid down and established that there are things we must see with our eyes, even though it's presented in a way that we can't see it. So forth, propaganda. The things he taught me about propaganda and campaigning and things of that nature came from what he learned as a veteran.
Mm-hmm.
And I say that to acknowledge him, one, for all the things he gifted me in life so that I can have knowledge to navigate through this place called Philadelphia and around this country.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to say that initially, as a kid, I always thought, oh, well, they went to Vietnam for propaganda. All wars are propaganda. But the fact is, some things you have to fight for. And I want to thank those men who put their lives on the line to guarantee that we could get certain liberties today.
Mm-hmm. I hear you, man. I hear you. And I want to thank you so much for your call this morning on WURD Radio. Let's go back to the phone lines at 215-634-8065. That's the number. Let's talk to Sekou from West Philly on line 4. Go ahead, Sekou.
Hey, how y'all doing this morning?
Good, man. How are you?
Fine. I was just calling about the boycott thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think he did boycott Liam Nelson to commute. Like after he said the thing with the friend and wanting to kill a black person or do some harm, a lot of us like, you know what? Yeah, we gonna sit this movie out.
I remember Liam Neeson saying that, but Liam Neeson in a whole lot of movies. Liam Neeson was in the Star Wars series. Liam Neeson was in the what was it? The Kidnap series?
No, but you gotta remember
Taken. The Taken series. I remember when he said that. But we ain't really. That wasn't really no major. Like, ain't nobody really hear about that.
No. Listen, what I'm trying to say. Those movies was before the commute. What we supported him. We watched his movies before the commute. Once he said that, because he said that during the promotion for the commute.
But did anybody want to see the commute anyway, though? I mean,
I can't say what people want to see. Like, I know that he's an actor, a white actor, and that done good in movies.
Yeah.
And then once he said that movie bombed. Now, whether the blacks didn't support him or the whites, I don't know.
I think it probably just wasn't good.
Yeah, but we wouldn't know if we don't go see it. That's what I'm saying. Because me personally, I said, no, I'm going to sit this one out. Because I don't see his movies. Like, I've seen The Wolf. The Wolf was a good movie. It's the Wolf movie, but it was called The Gray. So, like,
Kawasa's disagreeing. She said, nah, it wasn't really that good.
The Gray? She didn't like The Gray?
She didn't like the Wolf, nah. She didn't like that.
Listen,
The Gray, yeah.
Like Benzes, some people like BMWs.
I hear you.
You know, so I was just calling just to say that because we definitely set that one out.
So we set out Liam Neeson's last movie. Okay, I hear you.
All right.
All right, man. I want to thank you so much for your call this morning on WRD. I didn't hear any major calls for us not to go see. Now, I remember when Liam Neeson said that, and I agree with him on that, but I just don't remember any major calls for people not to go and see Liam Neeson's latest. But I hear you, man, and I want to thank you for pointing that out. Let's go back to the phone lines. Let's talk to Jacob from Alney on line 1. Go ahead, Jacob.
Good morning. Peace be unto you, brother.
How you doing?
Yeah, look, man, I'm stressed, but I know I'm blessed.
I know that's right.
Well, I want to shout out my oldest brother, God rest his soul, Andrew James Jr. He served this country in Vietnam, you know, and I learned a lot from him, and he was a good brother, you know, and I hope God forgive him his sins and grant him paradise. But, you know, I want to give another shout out to Crispus Attucks.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay?
There you go.
The first black. That's why when people try to tell me that I shouldn't be a part of this country and what this flag represents, I tell them, you must be out of your mind. If you think I'm going to give up all of the blood, sweat, and tears of my ancestors who not only died for their blood, sweat, and tears is in this soil, their remains is in this soil.
Come on,
That's
man.
sacred to me.
That's right.
So, but you know what? It's just like our 45th president. How do you know the Constitution and you never read it? How do you know a movie and you ain't never seen it? You know, a lot of these people. I was talking to somebody about this, and I said, well, first of all, we got to look at it like this. It's only a movie, right?
There you go.
And you know they're going to put some poetic license. I said, but we'll rush to see Spider-Man,
Yep.
the Hulk, and all this stupid stuff. I said, I know ain't no man jumping from Liberty One to the Comcast building on a damn string, but we'll line up in the cold to go see it. But and then we cry about, well, ain't no black people in movies. Spike Lee, you're down him. Yeah, that Malcolm X movie wasn't because they didn't show Malcolm killing white people and cutting their head off with Tyler Perry. On and on. We just go on and on about things that, we need to calm down.
Yep.
And you know what I mean? And exhale. And some of these people that's talking all this black stuff. And another thing, they gotta watch that they ain't being used. Okay? Talking about not voting and all this so stupid stuff. Come on, man. Stop playing. I don't care what your name is. Don't direct our people to silliness.
That's right.
And because you talk loud and fast don't mean a darn thing.
There you go.
We got to start thinking as a people, and we got to start supporting our own.
That's right.
Wherever that be.
That's right. You're right. Thank you, Jacob. I want to thank you so much for your call this morning on WURD. I mean, it really does come down to, are you going to support your own or are you not? And when stuff, see, here's the thing that we have to understand, and I want y'all to understand this very clearly. When stuff starts online, you don't know who it is who started it. You've never met the person. You've never seen the person. You don't know the person. And so this thing starts online, and they got a black picture in their profile. You don't know who that is. That could be Vladimir from Stalingrad. You don't know who that is. That could be Boris from Moscow. You don't know who that is. And you know how I know that? Because they did it before. They did it in the 2016 election. They were creating profiles, creating whole groups. They created a profile called Blacktivist, right? And it was a sham. It was out of Russia to tell black people not to vote. And we hooked right onto that thing and just believed it, fell for it, hook, line, and sinker, and followed behind it. We have to be careful about what we believe. We have to be careful about our sources of news. And we have to be careful about who and what we follow. We really do. You know, y'all see me every day. You see me in the market. I saw one of my listeners in ShopRite the other day. I had on my sunglasses. She like, you trying to be incognito? I said, no, I'm not. I'm just trying to find some baking powder. Can you help me? Because my wife sent me to the store for some baking powder. It's like hidden in the aisle behind it. You know, I eventually found it because like 3 sisters helped me. God bless all of them. Saw one of my listeners in Macy's the other day, right? Shout out to him. You know, I'm out here, right? You know who I am because I'm out here just like you. But when you see stuff online, you don't know who these people are. Why would you follow it and repeat it? We got to learn to be more careful, man, especially about our stuff. I know people are saying some stuff on Facebook about this, so we're going to find some of that in just a minute. You got it, Kwesa? We're going to find some of that. What are people saying on Facebook?
Oh, there's a lot of folks talking. Arnold Thornton says the movie with Liam Neeson bombed because it wasn't a good movie.
Wasn't good.
It was just like all his other movies. He was just taken on a train. It's true, though. That's true. That's, you know, one of the reasons I was like, okay, I mean, it was okay. Tia Dreyer says, does the movie get the necessary viewing and ticket sale credit from you watching via a streaming service? If not, will you pay to see it again in the movies? That's a good question.
Good question.
And I think that question was actually asked to Leonard Richardson. Oh, nope, that's not true. Somebody had said that they had watched it streaming. So anyway, that was a good question. But then also Leonard Richardson says the Harriet Tubman movie has the community divided. I understand both sides. At the end of the day, you have to do what you feel is best for you. So that's definitely true there. And Tia was saying also, as a writer and executive producer, I am saddened that a movie about a non-fictional woman of such tremendous substance was sensationalized. I agree, for whatever reasons. However, I know firsthand the challenges we face in just getting our scripts into the, quote, right hands. I will support the effort nonetheless without being in total agreement or approval of the, quote, spicy additions. We need us, and we need to support each other when we're employing our own in a positive manner. So I agree.
Yeah, here's the thing, right? Were any of us there in the 1850s? I mean, for real, do any of us really know what actually happened? So no matter how true you try to be to the story, it's some parts of it that's going to be fictionalized. I say this as somebody who's written 8 novels, right? Published by major publishers, Random House, St. Martin's Press, have toured the country. Like, you know, there's some parts of it that are going to be fictional because we weren't there. Nobody knows. Right? Now, there are some historical documents. Certainly, you can try to be true to those historical documents, but it's going to be some parts that you're going to have to just wing it because you don't know what happened. But, you know, I think the saddest thing for me is this. You got a black female producer, a black female writer, a black female director, a black female star, and almost all black cast, and you got black people down in it. And what makes it worse is that a lot of the people who are doing it are black men. So our sisters support us in everything. We can't support them in this. I mean, I got a problem with that. I do. I got to be honest. But I want to hear from you. 215-634-8065. Let's go to Lamar from Camden on line 2. Good morning.
Good morning, Solomon.
How you doing, man?
I'm doing fine. I just want to, first of all, think of this day as the honoring of all our veterans in my family. It's too many to number, but it's because their sacrifice and their struggle makes me really always call up and say about the hypocrisy of the way we feel about this flag in this country, and I'm talking about the other side. We'll hug the flag, we'll give these troops all the accolades at a football game, but our veterans are homeless. We talk about millions of dollars to the defense budget, but our veterans are still homeless. So I always sit there and say that we have a president who basically, under many terms, will be considered a traitor, in my eyes. Because I never know when we was friends with Russians.
Yeah, how about that?
Come from the days of watching 007. I know it may have been fictional, but I never knew Russians was our friends. In regards to the movie, I called before about the issue of their accents. And I always talked about how Idris Elba was a drug dealer in Baltimore, and no one had any problems.
Yep.
We as black folks got to get it together, because we'll be saying in one moment boycotting this movie, which I thought was great. Great from the point that I was able to take my son, because there's certain movies I can't take my son to, even though I want him to have the black experience. And he's 9 years old, and he was clearly be able to understand what was going on in that movie, so I appreciate it.
Right.
I had a conversation with a friend of mine who said, "Oh, it wasn't good." And I was something I already knew. And I said, "Well, it wasn't made for us who watch documentaries and those who pick up books."
Right.
You know, sometimes us black folks have to. If it just starts a conversation, if it opens up a discussion in school, it started something. So, you know, in this day, of Veterans Day, I want to praise those in our community that have served from day one and from the birth of this country.
Yeah.
And will continue to serve, and understand the fact that sometimes, you know, our country doesn't. Oh, but another so, as far as boycotting, there was a host of yours who was boycotting the issue with Birth of a Nation.
Yeah.
But I thought it was, you know, you brought up a point about watching what media points out, because I remember that no one had anything about Red Tails, and no one had anything, you know, in regards to his previous work.
Yeah.
And I have a problem with, because there was a host of yours who was very strong because she was a victim of sexual assault. Now, everybody has their own scars, but sometimes it's like, unless you boycotting Weinstein's movies, unless you boycott a lot of people who have been in that era, I really think that you choosing to fight on our own is only going to just tear us and separate us, you know. So I'm going to just keep up the good work.
Thank you, brother.
I think it's just stupid that, you know, I support the film.
Yeah.
Because when they don't pick us up, then you be complaining that they ain't going to boost no
There you go. There you go. And I want to thank you so much for your call this morning on WRD. And again, you know, other hosts can feel how they feel, and I respect their point of view. So this is not about anybody else or their point of view. Certainly you can have your point of view, and I respect your right to have it. But I disagree. So I just think we need to support us. But I want to remind you to listen up, Word family, because this month, we have a really exciting membership offer. If you start or renew your onWURD membership during the month of November, you will get a free copy of the new Harriet Tubman book, She Came to Slay, The Life and Times of Harriet Tubman. Remember, we featured the author, noted historian, and scholar, Dr. Erica Armstrong Dunbar, on our Struggle in Progress panel on November 1st. And this is a unique opportunity to support independent black media and learn about the life and times of Harriet Tubman. Join the onWURD movement today and get your free copy of She Came to Slay, The Life and Times of Harriet Tubman. For more information, go to WURDradio.com or call 215-425-7875. I'm Solomon Jones. We'll be right back.
If you want to start your morning with mindfulness, motivation, and inspiration, tune in to Daybreak with me, Halana, here on WURD Radio, Monday through Friday from 6 to 7 a.m. I'm a health and wellness coach with over 15 years experience helping people to transform their lives. On the show, we talk health and wellness 360, from getting your mind right to getting your money right. So let's rise and shine together right here on WURDradio.com, 96.1 FM, 900 on your AM dial on Daybreak every morning.
Be heard. Want another way to join the conversation?
Follow us on social media
using the hashtag onWURD.
Be heard.
Stay connected to Word Radio.
Independent Black Media.
Word family, listen up. Tuesday, November 12th, join Word for Sassy Seniors. Broadcasting live from the West Oak Lane Senior Center located at 7208 Ogontz Avenue. We're calling all our sassy seniors to come out and join me, Dr. Aaron Smith, the rapping professor, from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Sassy Seniors is an event honoring our seniors and providing fun, food, resources, information, and more. Halana Warren from Daybreak with Word will also be there with chair yoga and mindful meditation activities. Sponsored by Oak Street Health, United States Census, and Keystone First VIP First. See you Tuesday, November 12th at the West Oak Lane Senior Center from 10 a.m. to noon. Sassy Seniors!
Now, a traffic update
on Word Radio.
Good morning. This report sponsored by Dr. Patient Unity. Still a busy riding spots this morning. Schuylkill Expressway westbound, Bear to South through Jammed. Jammed again, Vine Expressway out to Montgomery. A disabled vehicle there off to the shoulder. Then you're jammed again the Boulevard out through Belmont eastbound. From 202 through the curve, you're slow again east of the Boulevard in through Girard. Delay southbound 95. You're busy from Betsy Ross through Girard. Northbound, not a bad ride this morning. Westbound Vine again, Parkway through the Schuylkill Expressway slow. Southbound Blue Ridge, delay Norristown through the Schuylkill Expressway. Then jam Route 1 to Media Swarthmore. Northbound jam from McDade up to Route 1. 42 northbound, a little slow 55 to 295, 55 north of Jam Deptford into 42. As Surprise Medical bills bankrupt Americans, Bob Casey stands with doctors to remove patients from billing disputes. He demands insurance companies pay their fair share in opposing their rate-setting proposal to cover less medical care. Tell Bob Casey thank you and to keep fighting. For more traffic information, log on to sigalert.com. I'm Jim Bachman with your Philadelphia area traffic.
It's Wake Up with Word, hosted by Solomon Jones.
Good morning.
Right now on Word Radio.
96.1 FM.
And 900 AM WURD.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD. I want to welcome you back to Wake Up with Word. We're talking about a number of things this morning. Of course, Veterans Day. Happy Veterans Day. And we are honoring the veterans, those who have spilled their blood for this country, those who have sacrificed everything, those who were brave enough to stand up and say, I am going to fight for my family, for my people, for my neighborhood, for my community, for everyone here in this country, those who love the country enough to fight even though the country wouldn't fight for them. I want to know how you feel about Veterans Day, and shout out those in your family who have served. I want to hear those names. We want to honor those names, and we want to give them their just due. So certainly give us a call about that, 215-634-8065. We're also talking about the whole Harriet issue. It's an issue that won't go away. I just keep seeing it on social media, and today I just had to talk about it because I see people who say don't go see the movie, right? For various reasons. Some people say it's because it's not historically accurate. Some people say it's because Byron Allen is suing Comcast, accusing them of racism for not airing his channels. Some people say it's because the actress who's playing Harriet Tubman is not African American. She's from Britain. Some people say it's because she said some stuff on Twitter that they found to be offensive to African Americans some years ago, right? And I don't know. For me, when I look at the fact that you have a black female producer, a black female director, a black female star, a virtually all black cast, and we decide that this is the thing that we want to boycott, I just wonder if that's the best use of our time, if that's the best use of our power. Black folks spend $1.3 trillion a year. Imagine if we used that power in a targeted way and decided that we were going to boycott one company, right? And we were going to focus on that one company in order to make them change their behavior. Imagine how much of an impact that would have. And for those who say they boycotting because they boycotting Comcast, have you turned off your Comcast cable? Have you stopped watching all movies by Universal? Or are you just targeting the black movie? And my question to you is, if in fact you are boycotting that company, then why haven't you turned off everything else? Why are you just boycotting the black movie? See, I think we have to think about why we are doing stuff, who is telling us to do it, where did the message come from, and are we being used to our own detriment? So I want to hear from you. 215-634-8065. That's 215-634-8065. And still ain't nobody named me no major white movie that we have boycotted. We boycott our own stuff, but won't boycott nobody else's. Run to go give white people our money. Here you go, sir. Here's my money. Running. That's the footstep. You hear him? We running. Come on, man. Seriously, what are we doing? My wife sent me a text. She says this: which is more detrimental to our community, the depiction of African Americans in Harriet or Empire? I think the boycott efforts are woefully misguided. So I want to hear from you because you might disagree with me, and I want to hear from you if you do. Let's go to Cliff from Connecticut, who's on line 4. Go ahead, Cliff. Cliff?
Brother Solomon.
Yes, sir.
Oh, thanks for taking my call.
You're
I
welcome.
want to try to combine both issues. Number one, the Veterans Day, as we as black people, as Christians, and I'm just sharing my belief, you know what I mean, we're told not to kill, but yet we'll kill and sacrifice and pretty much take the lives of others just for the name of the country. But however, when it comes down and seeing the rise of white supremacy, when we talk about bearing arms, then we get the notion that, we don't need to kill, we need to love. You know what I mean? So we got two conflicting stories. We can't protect our own individual freedom. Right now, today, again, with the rise of white supremacy and white nationalists, we don't want to bear arms, but yet we got no problem historically joining the army and the armed forces to fight for the country.
Who said we shouldn't bear arms? I don't think anybody said that.
Christians.
Why are you so down on Christians?
Because of the fact that, man, that we got one man.
Ain't nobody in Christianity said don't bear arms.
Okay, then. All right, then. Okay,
Ain't nobody say that.
Okay, I'll give you that then, all right? So I'll let you have that. But you also mentioned in terms of Harriet Tubman, I saw the movie and how things are different, and we didn't live in that time period. But it's the principle, and some things are still the same in terms of whites have the power, they're in control. Then you had a segment in the movie where you had the white overseer, the master, looking at the preachers and making sure they say the right thing to the black people. And then when you had a whole people that should be freed, some didn't want to leave the plantation because they felt good that they were there and the master treated them right, while the others wanted to leave and have freedom. But it's always, to me, it always seems that the women are the ones that have the leadership and the courage, while the men are scared and don't want to take the courage to get their own liberation. You know what I mean? And so this is what I picked out.
So that's what you did. You see the movie?
You know, say yes, I did. And then at the end.
Don't tell the end of the movie, man, because some people ain't see it. Let them see it. You know what I mean? Don't do that. But okay, so Cliff didn't like it. Cliff said, "Nah, we shouldn't do it." And Asa Khalif didn't like it either. Asa Khalif, of course, a veteran activist here in the city of Philadelphia. He said this: "I saw the movie, but I regret it. I suggest everyone watch A Woman Called Moses." And then he goes on to say, "The problem with the Harriet Tubman movie is the movie didn't tell the truth. Introducing a black male fictional bounty hunter was shameful. Also, her white slave master was made up and ends up saving her from the black male fictional bounty hunter. Are you kidding me?" So I didn't see it that way, but I hear you. So that's Asa Khalif's point of view. What is yours? Give me a call, 215-634-8065. That's 215-634-8065. And so Dennis Garden says this: boycott Harriet, right? And Charlton Heston was Moses. Yeah. Right. 215-634-8065 is the number. Let's go to Ab from Nicetown on line 2. AB from Nicetown on line 2. Go ahead.
Solomon, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, brother.
Okay, I just want to give a shout out to, I have two brothers that were military. One is Jonathan and one is Anthony.
Uh-huh.
Anthony has since went to the ancestors.
Okay.
And the other thing is that I just wanted to say that and talking about boycotting, why don't we boycott these poppy stores that's selling? Why don't we boycott these poppy stores in the neighborhood? Also, the beer joints that sell the beer, and the ones that selling all those cigars. Why don't we do that? Why don't we focus on that?
I hear you.
Cigars, they running around. I mean, they smoking and spending that dollar, and you see the rappers and the tops of them all up on the street. They got all these beer outlets in the neighborhoods, everywhere, all over, and all the poppy stores. And why don't they boycott them? Why don't they do that and refocus on that?
I hear you.
Then maybe we can have some black stores that we can go to in our neighborhood.
Yeah.
And if they stop buying all that beer, maybe those beer joints will go out the neighborhoods. And they won't be selling all them blunt cigars they selling us. So why don't we do that?
I hear you, and I want to thank you so much for your call this morning on WURD Radio. Let's go back to the phone lines, and let's talk with Tony from North Philly on line 2. Go ahead, Tony.
Hey, good morning, Solomon. Thanks for taking my call.
You're welcome.
Good morning. Solomon, I just want to say this. Look, when they shooting us dead in the street, how many of them people that's Latinos, rapping, even Africans making money, how many of them are out there in the front line when we getting shot dead in the street in the back for a traffic stop and voicing their opinion out on the front line using that name for us? That's what I'm...
Using what name? The N-word you talking about?
The name that they're making, where they're making money, you know, Idris Elba and all that. Where are their names when they shooting us dead in the street? You know what I'm saying?
No, I don't. So are you saying that Africans and Latinos do not stand with us when we have issues concerning black lives?
I haven't seen them out front. I haven't heard anything or seen anything.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Well, I have. So, I want to thank you so much for your call this morning on WURD because I've led some protests, right, where there are actually people from all walks of life, people from all races who come out and stand up for black lives. If you were there when we went to police headquarters and protested, there were Latinos there were white folks there were African Americans there were people who were from the Caribbean who were there. So, I'm just saying what I've seen in the protests that I've led and in the protests that I have participated in. There have been people from all walks of life and people from all races who have come out and participated. So I don't know what you've seen. I'm just saying as somebody who's led protests, they were there. So 215-634-8065. Let's go to Diane from South Philly on line 3. Go ahead, Diane.
Solomon, good morning.
Good morning.
I got a terrible cold.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, now make sure Sugar Lady didn't get it because I don't have her today.
Okay, good.
But listen, I don't want to get off the topic of Harriet Tubman because I haven't seen the movie yet. But I just want to piggyback on a comment that the brother just made about these poppy stores. Where is the rule and regulations that store can go down to Save Walmart and get great value merchandise, bring it in a corner store and resell it for a higher price. Take brown and serve sausages and sell them for $2.49 when they're only 99 cents.
Hey, I see, because we have a membership to one of the club stores, right, where you can go in and buy stuff in bulk. I'm going to tell you something. I see folks in there all the time of other persuasions, and they got stores, and they in there buying that stuff in bulk, and then they come and triple the price.
Yes, indeed.
They come and triple the price. I've seen that.
Well, don't we have at the city of Philadelphia, and is it the Commerce Department or something? For one thing, I'll break it down. The dollar store, when they buy that merchandise, it's only between 40 and 60 cents. Our dollar makes the difference. Okay, that's their profit. Now, and then we have the Asians. I'm not picking on them, but I'm giving you an example. They're selling loose liquor over the counter.
Yeah.
Right there at 58th and what's it? Not Woodland. No, not 58. It's 56. It's a bar. 57. It's a bar at the corner. I'm going in there because I mentioned going into when they had the picket about the stores. Cindy Bass chaired that, and she did an excellent job.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It needs to be reported. It needs to stop. Solomon, keep it real, but keep it black, like you always do.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And get better. Feel better soon, because we're going to need you there on Monday, November 18th. We need you out there.
Chicken and potato salad, okay?
All right now. Thank you so much, and thank you for your call this morning on WURD Radio. We're going to go to break, and on the other side, we're going to continue our conversation with you right here on WURD.
Don't miss The Source.
Weekdays 10 a.m. to 1 p.m.
on WURD Radio.
WURDradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
My name is Shirley Turner. I was born, raised Philadelphia, 68 years. I learned about Dedicated through my insurance carrier. This office of Dedicated was much closer to me. I liked the idea of being able to set the appointment and they would send someone to get me and bring me back, which was a big plus because where I was going, you get there on your own. The staff at Dedicated, they've been very kind to me. Tashiana, when I come in, even if I call her on the phone, "Hi, Miss Turner," she knows my name, knows my voice. It makes you feel better because in all the 30-something years I went to the other, that receptionist still don't know me. And little things like that matter.
Experience the Dedicated difference. Call for a free tour. 267-443-1900. Dedicated Senior Medical Centers. 267-443-1900.
Philly, get ready. The Universal Circus opens in 3 days at Fairmount Park. You don't want to miss it. Get your tickets now. Welcome to the Universal Circus. It opens in 3 days.
Absolutely amazing. I must say.
It was incredible.
Very different than any other circus.
Awesome, amazing.
We loved it. The main message was we all belong together.
November 14th through December 8th at Fairmount Park. Tickets available through Ticketmaster.
Are you stressed from work and daily life? Are you lacking the confidence to become the person you want to be? Do you want to take your healthy lifestyle to the next level? If so, let's work together. Hello, I'm Helana, your resident self-care strategist. 14 years ago, I started my very own wellness journey, and since then have been able to help hundreds of people to regain control of their lives through yoga, meditation, and plant-based eating. If you want lasting lifestyle changes and to build healthy habits that will grow with you, text me your email address right now. I know you have your phone in your hand at 267-281-3890. Again, that's 267-281-3890. Text me your email address to receive your very own self-care guide.
Now, a traffic update
on WURD Radio.
Good morning. This report sponsored by Dr. Patient Unity. Still a busy ride in spots this morning. Schuylkill Expressway westbound, Bear to South through jammed. Jammed again, Vine Expressway out to Montgomery. A disabled vehicle there off to the shoulder. Then you're jammed again the Boulevard out through Belmont eastbound. From 202 through the curb, you're slow again east of the Boulevard in through Girard. Delay southbound 95. You're busy from Betsy Ross through Girard. Northbound, not a bad ride this morning. Westbound Vining and Parkway through the Schuylkill Expressway slow. Southbound Blue Ridge, delay Norristown through the Schuylkill Expressway. Then jam Route 1 to Media Swamp. More northbound jam from McDade up to Route 1. 42 northbound, a little slow 55 to 295, 55 north of Jam Deptford into 42. As Surprise Medical Bills bankrupt Americans, Bob Casey stands with doctors to remove patients from billing disputes. He demands insurance companies pay their fair share in opposing their rate-setting proposal to cover less medical care. Tell Bob Casey thank you and to keep fighting. For more traffic information, log on to sigalert.com. I'm Jim Bachman with your Philadelphia area traffic.
You're waking up
with Word.
Hosted by Solomon Jones.
Good morning.
Right now on Word Radio.
96.1 FM.
And 900 AM WURD.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD. It's a hot one today, Kawesa. We're talking about Veterans Day, also talking about us boycotting the movie Harry. My question is this, right? Because I've seen it. I've seen it twice. I'll probably see it one more time because I got to take my kids, right? But when have we boycotted any white movies? And I'm still trying to figure it out. Kawesa, you've had a little bit of time to think about it. Have you thought of any white movies we have boycotted?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about this hard, and no, I can't. I mean, like, later on we can always say like, oh, you shouldn't have watched that movie because this person was this person was that. But sometimes you don't know when you went and saw the movie, So I can't think of any movie. Yeah. Right. At least right now. Like, I know I was upset, when Jar Jar Binks, and I was like, yo, really? But I didn't know that was what was going to happen when I went and saw that movie, that they were going to have him, talking all crazy and, being so. Yeah.
So, I mean, did you see that character? So that's a Star Wars character. He was like, I don't know, they almost looked like dinosaurs or something, right? Yeah. And he was talking stupid. He sounded stupid, right? Did you think that they were supposed to be black? That his species in that movie was supposed to be black? Did you see it that way?
I didn't think that he was supposed to be black, but I think that the overall consensus was that they were kind of mocking black folks, and so I did feel slightly offended. It didn't bother me, I think, as much as some folks. And they were like, no, I'm never going to see Star Wars again, and I'm not ever doing that, and this, that, and third. And I'm just like, I was just happy that I got to see, Samuel L. Jackson in, one of those. And then later on, we did have, another brother in there who I didn't even understand what he was doing. Anyway, that's not the point. The point is that, we've been, wanting to have black folks in. And so if you're going to, boycott because of the fact that you weren't seeing hardly any black people in these films, not really because of Jar Jar Binks. I don't know.
And that's what I'm saying. So Star Wars is literally supposed to be like the universe, right? And you got 2 black people in the whole universe. What happened to black people? Were black people extinct? Are there just a few of us left? Are we like a protected species? Like, what is going on with black? But we won't boycott that. You understand? We won't boycott stuff where they are literally showing black drug dealers killing black people. We won't boycott that. We don't boycott stuff where they're calling our women bees and hoes and this and that. We won't boycott that. But we boycott a black movie that's about a black hero because it's not exactly what you wanted it to be. I just think we have to learn to think critically, I think. And we have to learn to discern what we see online, who's saying it, who started it, where did it come from, and why. If, in fact, you are boycotting a whole company, right, Comcast, why is the only part of the company you boycotting the black part? Huh? Why is that? Like, why you ain't turn off your cable? Your cable's still on. You home with the kickback with the remote, got your popcorn ready, turning the channels, paying that fat bill every single month. Talk about you boycotting Comcast. Get out of here. We got to learn how to think critically. 215-634-8065. Now, if you don't like it for historical reasons, whatever, I respect your point of view. Do you? Right? But I do think that we have to learn to support each other. We have to learn to support our art. And if we have criticisms about it, fine, but don't try to discourage everybody else from supporting it. Why are we doing that? 215-634-8065. That's just my view. Let's go back to the phone lines. I want to hear your view. Let's go to Maurice from Southwest on line 2. Go ahead, Maurice.
Solomon, the truth.
Hey, brother.
Let me tell you something. The reason I won't go see it because I don't like those type of movies because always at the end, a white man comes save the day. That's the only reason. It could be a good movie. I'm not telling nobody not to see it. I'm just saying why I don't see it.
Okay.
Okay? I got a long history of my family telling me about my black ancestors, and I'd rather hear from them than see a movie where they predicted the way they wanted to go. But, that's all.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying. And as far as Veterans Day, I'm so tired of watching the news, and they seem like there's only white Veterans Day interview. You know what I mean? Act like there was nobody black ever fought a war. You never see one of these 610, whatever channel you want to look at, they all run to old white men like old black men never did anything. And you can turn on your TV right now and look at the news, and you'll see if you see a black person, you better tape it because they rarely do it. You know what I'm saying? And the second thing, I'm tired of black people being slaves to the Democratic Party, and we please stop that because right now they got a little chink in their armor right now, but we need to do more. And I just want people to understand that Mayor Kenny, the thing you're trying to do, he decided he has a plan for 2020 spring. Can you believe that? How many more people got to die before he put a plan in?
Yeah. We don't have time to wait for that. And I'm glad that he's trying to do something. So I'm not going to criticize that. You go ahead and try to do something, but we got to do for our own. That's why we are coming together November 18th for Black Man Up PHL. And calling out black men to really be a part of something bigger than themselves, to be part of trying to help one another, man. We can't wait on the government. We've tried to call in the government before and ask them to do stuff, and that's how we got mass incarceration. We tried to call in the government before and ask them to do stuff, and we had black people killed unarmed. We tried to call in the government to do stuff before, and they have put together systems that have really been detrimental to our people. So, God bless them. You try to do something good, but we got to do for our own. That's where I'm at, Maurice. Are you going to be there on the 18th?
Solomon, I told you, man, wheelchair and all, brother.
I know that's right.
Let me tell you something, one thing. I just want to say, listen, about the mayor. One thing we got to understand. We got 4 more years of this man. Remember, he supposed to have put in a plan a year ago. Think about that one.
I hear you. I want to thank you so much for your call this morning on WURD Radio. On Facebook, you got some people saying some stuff regarding the Harriet movie as well. Gloria Gainey said, preach and teach, Brother Solomon. Joy Crudup said, a white man did not save the day in this movie. Tia Hicks says, shake my head unless we got people whom were there back then to discuss the real deal. No need to trip. We can't prove or unprove. Read a book on how our people overcame and still struggling for our piece of the pie. I'm going to go back to the phone lines. Warren from Southwest is on line 1. Go ahead, Warren.
Hello, how you feel, Solomon?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm going to see the movie, but I haven't seen it. I heard a lot about it, and I'm going to see it. My biggest prejudice, Miss Diane, about these corner stores, man, they are killing us. They're using day-old coffee. They're selling us. They got a liquor store in every one of these delis. And when you call the city and ask the city about it, the city say they can't do nothing about it because it's private enterprise. We need to stop going into these stores, and I just wanted to give a shout-out to you, Solomon.
All right. Well, I want to thank you so much for your call this morning on WRD. Let's go to William from North Philly on line 3. Good morning, William.
Good morning, Solomon. I had an opinion, too, but I had heard the lady talking about the poppy stores. In my opinion, I think that we should stop. I mean, we shouldn't worry about the poppy stores as much as we should try to get our own stores.
Mm-hmm.
I went to a meeting because they're trying to rezone my area for whatever reasons. I live around Broad and Erie Way. We got three-story houses, and they can be used as multifamily houses. I went to a meeting where it was a rezone meeting. The people brought that same subject up about the poppy stores,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't want our houses to be able to be used as multifamily houses. Now, these people, it was a lot of older people there, but it wasn't really a lot of people didn't show up. And the thing about it was the people from the zoning committee said they were rezoning it because of parking. I never had
Oh,
a problem
boy.
with
That's the beginning of the gentrification, bruh.
Right.
That's what that is.
I've never had a problem with parking. And me, as an entrepreneur, or would-be entrepreneur, that wants to buy in my area, that would kill me. Because all we have is monster three-story houses around here. And I'm saying, so what am I supposed to do with this giant three-story house? I can't use it as a single-family house. And you just going to just come up here and start changing my zoning. Also, I'm looking at the black people. They talking about the poppy store, but I'm saying to myself, I wanted to open me a corner store up. Now, once you give them the power, all the power to decide whether we can have a corner store on our block or not.
Yeah.
Now we can't. Now we got to go through this whole. Well, y'all decide y'all didn't want stores on your corner because it's not going to just target the poppy stores or the bears. Just going any store is going to be targeted from that, and that's the way I'm looking at it from my perspective as a black man trying to make it. You can't stop. I mean, I'm gonna say I don't want to use the words crying and all those type of things.
Right.
But we got to try to stop. We got to start doing for ourselves. Nobody has to tell me to boycott something. I guess it's already my father already put it into me. I don't really go to the corner stores as much. If I do got to go, it might have to go for like some potato chips, something like that. But I ran a lunch cart, and I go to the restaurant depot. So they are right. That's the only people you see there. But you can't get mad at them. You need to be there.
Yeah, I know that's right, and I want to thank you so much for your call this morning on WURD Radio. Let's go to Philip from West Philly on line 4. Go ahead, Philip.
Good morning, Solomon. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Good.
Okay. First, I want to wish all of our veterans out there, that have served in the military or that still currently serving in the military. A happy Veterans Day.
Yeah.
And yes, I want to give a shout out to a few of my uncles, who served in the military, and to my late father, who was a Vietnam War veteran, and my late stepfather who served in the Marines.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. Yes, I did go see the Harriet Tubman movie over the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was a very good movie.
Okay.
And yes, and I just don't get it about, I don't know what it is about our people, with this nonsense about, okay, the movie's not black enough, but they have even said that about other things that we produce, movies or television shows, like, because they said the Cosby Show, and It's a Different World. They said that wasn't black enough.
Right.
And yeah. But as far as you asking the question is, when can any of us recall blacks boycotted white-made movies? Well, since I've been living, no, I can't recall it.
I can't recall it either. And I want to thank you, Philip, for your callers. And that hit me this morning like, okay, because I saw somebody else, because I was going to let it go. But I saw somebody else talking about it yesterday on Facebook. It's a hot issue. And it's one that we need to talk about. But as I'm seeing this back and forth about it online, I'm trying to think, when have black folk ever boycotted a white movie? And I can't remember us doing it. Not in recent history. I cannot remember us doing it. So I want to hear from you. 215-634-8065. We quick to run and boycott our own. But I'm trying to figure out, when have we boycotted any white movie? I have not seen it. Not in my lifetime. Let's go to Hugh from South Jersey on line 1. Go ahead, Hugh.
Hey, good morning, Solomon.
Good morning.
A comment was made a few moments ago about not seeing black veterans in the media when Veterans Day comes around. I wanted to point out to listeners who may not be aware of this, there is a series of videos, and it was also a DVD. It's called For Love of Liberty, The Story of America's Black Patriots, and it features 28 significant African Americans who served their country during the armed forces. So I think this is something that is beneficial to look up on YouTube, because the videos are all there. So if you want really a deeper understanding of how our folks actually serve. As a matter of fact, the armed forces is given credit as one of the first places to actually desegregate in America. So I think it's something that people will benefit from. Again, it's called The Story of America's Black Patriots. Check that out. Series, you can find it on YouTube.
Will do. Thank you so much, Hugh. We appreciate your call this morning on WRD. Let's go to Carlos from Nicetown. Good morning, Carlos.
Yeah, good morning, brother. I saw Harriet Tubman's movie last Friday just passed on the 8th.
Okay.
So I don't know if you know yet, but the AMC movie down there is opening up now, down in the gallery down there. Yeah,
right.
They just opened it up like a couple weeks ago. Anyway, I've seen that movie, man, and it's very interesting. Yeah, man, that's deep.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, she went through a whole lot.
She did indeed.
Yeah.
She did indeed. Carlos, I want to thank you so much for your call this morning on WURD Radio. Let's go to Taib from Philly on line 3. Go ahead, Taib. Taib.
First time calling.
Okay, what's your name, brother?
My name's Taib.
Go ahead, Taib.
Yes, I wanted to give a shout out to the unsung veterans.
Yes, sir.
Who I consider to be the real black, revolutionaries. Of of our nation, of our people. Okay. People like Osceola from the Seminole Wars, Queen Nzinga, Granny Nanny, Elijah Muhammad, Sekou Odinga, Marcus Garvey, Russell Maroon Schultz, Fannie Lou Hamer, Fred Hampton, Kawesi Balagoon, Assata Shakur, and all of the other unsung heroes that I did not mention, but I want to give a shout out to them because I think that they died, they was in prison, they was set up, for the revolution, for the liberation of our people. And I don't think that a lot of people actually give them credit for what they did. And I really believe that not only should they be in the history books, but I also think that they should be on the walls the same way that we put brothers and sisters on the walls who was murdered by the police, or brothers and sisters on the walls who was murdered from by one another. I think that these individuals should be on the walls in our communities. We should be honoring them.
All right, Taib. Well, I want to thank you. And you say they weren't giving a shout out, but you just gave it to them. So we appreciate that, and we appreciate you. Thank you so much for being a first-time caller. Let's go to Jerry from West Philly on line 4. Go ahead, Jerry.
Hi, good morning. I want to say good morning. First of all, I wanted to find out about the young lady that's 14 years old that's being charged as an adult.
We don't know if she's been charged as an adult yet. We don't know that.
I think they did say that. I might be wrong.
Okay, well, we'll find that out.
Okay, I apologize if I'm wrong. But will she be in a detention center, or she's going to be with the regular prisoners?
I have no idea. I'm sure they would not put her in an adult prison at 14 years old.
Very good, yeah. Okay, that's my only question about that. But we need, as African Americans, we need to start learning how to be leaders and not followers. I don't think they need to be protesting the Harriet Tubman. And no, I never seen them protesting against any white movies, white films or anything either. Another thing, too, that bothered me about that protesting, when you said who is in charge of it, they said that before on Facebook, that a lot of those hackers, they're not even from here, and they're Caucasians. And that's why when you come to think about the mob, they get together, who you see be running around when they post something about be such and such a place. It'd be young African-American children that go there as mob. And I'm like, y'all not even thinking, and the person that put it out there, they at home cracking up while some of them get locked up or, whatever. It don't make no sense. We need to learn how to be leaders and stop followers.
All right. I want to thank you so much for your call this morning on WURD Radio. We are going to go to break, and on the other side, we're going to talk with our first guest about the missing persons in the black community that you do not hear about. Our first guest is coming up next. She's Natalie Wilson. She's co-founder and chief operations officer of the Black and Missing Foundation. I'm Solomon Jones. We'll be right back.
Don't miss The Source.
Weekdays 10 a.m. to 1 p.m.
on Word Radio.
WordRadio.com and the Word Radio app.
The newly reimagined Penn Museum, America's Museum of Ancient Worlds, right here in Philadelphia. Experience the history of the world as you've never seen it before. Come face to face with the largest Egyptian sphinx in the Western Hemisphere. Marvel at the 1,000-year-old Maya monuments. Explore the rare wonders of the far corners of the world, from ancient Egypt, Rome, and Greece to Japan, China, and the Middle East, all in a single day. And this fall, we're unveiling 2 stunning new galleries, one embarking upon an eye-opening journey through the extraordinarily diverse continent of Africa, and the other plunging you into the fascinating world of the ancient Americas, from Mexico through Central America. You'll see it only at the new Penn Museum. Bigger, brighter, and more exciting than ever. At the Penn Museum, discovery is closer than you think. Plan your trip today at pennmuseum.org.
This is Word Radio. Independent Black Media.
Looking for an exciting new hotel in a fabulous location? The Cambria Hotel is the place. Located on Avenue of the Arts, this hot new location features modern, stylish guest rooms for that special staycation or your next out-of-town guest. Wind down for a delicious bite at the Trouble and Bass Lobby Bar and Restaurant, or Philadelphia's #1 rooftop lounge, Attico. Looking for meeting space? Check out the Cambria's beautiful ballrooms and catering services. The vibe is upscale and never uptight. Book now and save with our special promotional rates. It's the Cambria Hotel, where everybody is somebody. Visit CambriaPhiladelphia.com.
My mother was always very active and independent, and she was familiar with her neighborhood. But one day, she stopped at the stop sign for much longer than usual. She wasn't even really sure where she was at.
It's important for you to talk to someone about it. I felt so much better after my son told me, Mom, we'll figure it out.
When something feels different, it could be Alzheimer's. Now is the time to talk. Visit alz.org/ourstories to learn more. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Now, a traffic update on Word Radio.
Good morning. This report sponsored by Doctor-Patient Unity. We have delays a little bit busy on the Schuylkill Expressway eastbound 202 through the curve again Montgomery through Girard westbound, jammed there to south, jammed again the Boulevard out through Belmont, westbound Vine Parkway through the Schuylkill Expressway, a bit slow. Boulevard Route 1 southbound, delays from Broad down through Fox. 95 southbound, that jams Betsy Ross through Girard northbound side, no major problems there. Delays on the Blue Route southbound Norristown through the Schuylkill Expressway, jammed again southbound Route 1 Amelia Swarthmore, northbound Blue Route McDade up to Route 1 heavy. Westbound Turnpike delay Willow Grove to Fort Washington. 42 northbound, so a little slow, 55 through 295. 55 north jamming, Deptford in the 42. As Surprise Medical bills bankrupt Americans, Bob Casey stands with doctors to remove patients from billing disputes. He demands insurance companies pay their fair share in opposing their rate-setting proposal to cover less medical care. Tell Bob Casey thank you and to keep fighting. For more traffic information, log on to sigalert.com. I'm Jim Bachman with your Philadelphia area traffic.
It's Wake Up with Word, hosted by Solomon Jones. Right now on Word Radio. 96.1 FM. And 900 AM WURD.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD. You can, of course, also listen to us on our website, WURDradio.com. Just click Listen Live to hear us in clear digital sound. And, of course, you can follow us everywhere that we go. Just download your Word Radio app on your phone and take us with you that way. I want to welcome our first guest. She's Natalie Wilson, co-founder and chief operations officer of the Black and Missing Foundation. She joins us to talk about her organization and the underreporting of missing Black people. Natalie, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So I'm looking at some of the statistics on missing Black children specifically. The FBI's National Crime Information Center says that there were over 424,000 missing children in 2018. 37% of them are Black, even though Black kids make up only about 14% of the population of children. That is amazing. Why aren't we hearing about it?
You're right. We're not hearing about it. And what that article also mentioned is that 20% are Hispanic or Latino children, and they're not even included in our numbers. They are reported as white or Caucasian when they go missing. But we believe that people or our children are not receiving media attention for a number of reasons. One, they're classified as runaways. If you're classified as a runaway, you do not receive the Amber Alert or any type of media coverage. And two, we believe that the public and the media has become desensitized, where they believe that some type of criminal act or deviant behavior has occurred, and it's normal for that population. What we must remember that many times, most of these missing children are from the lower economic, society, and they are just discarded.
What role does race play? What role does race and racism in the media play?
It plays a big role, a huge role. We see the same cases making the news cycle over and over again, and we say less is more, so less of one race and more of everyone else. Our stories matter too, and awareness is key in finding our missing. Really quickly, we are in the D.C. area, and we can be out of D.C. into New York in 2.5 hours. So national media coverage is very important, because a person could go missing, a child could go missing, and can be anywhere.
Yeah. So, so you started your organization, the Black and Missing Foundation. Why? Why did you start this organization?
So this organization, or the Black Missing Organization, was founded in 2008 with my sister-in-law. And we read how a young lady by the name of Tamika Houston, she went missing from Spartanburg, South Carolina, and her family really struggled to get any type of media coverage. So we wanted to know if this is an issue, so we decided to do our research. And at that time, 30% of all persons missing were of color, but it wasn't reflected in the news. It wasn't reflected. We didn't hear about it in our community. So I'm in media relations, and my sister-in-law is a former police officer or in law enforcement. And we said, why not us? Why don't we do something about it? Because we have the two critical professions that's needed to bring awareness to our missing. And let me just say this really quickly. It's not just on law enforcement or the media. It's the community. So all of us play an important role in finding our missing and protecting our community. Sex trafficking amongst our girls and boys, when we think of sex trafficking, we think of just girls. But our girls and boys is at an all-time high. We're seeing an uptick in places like Philadelphia, in Baltimore, in Chicago, in Atlanta. So we have to have that conversation with our children, and we have to protect those most vulnerable. Children that are homeless, children that are in foster care are disappearing at an alarming rate.
So what is it as a community that we can do regarding our missing children that we are not doing?
We need to have that conversation. We need to have those conversations, and thank you for using your platform to do that. But in our churches, in our schools, we ask parents all the time, all children are on social media. Create a fictitious account and see if you can befriend your child, and you groom them and see if they'll give you the information of where they are at school, when you're not home, where they live. You'll be surprised how these predators groom these kids, and then they show up at their school. They show up at a location where the child is. So we need to be vigilant. We need to have these conversations.
Yeah, that's a scary thing. And I think social media really does add another layer to this and to the protections that we need to provide for our children. But one thing you said really interested me. You talked about our children being reported as runaways as compared to being reported as missing. Well, if you run away, you're still missing. So what's the difference?
Absolutely. But again, we tell parents to be vigilant. You know your child better than anyone else. And if it doesn't feel right, if you know that your child did not run away, you need to be consistent and make sure your child is reported correctly, because if law enforcement says that they went away voluntarily, no one is looking for them. And it's not fair. And we do know that children who run away within 24 hours are lured into sex trafficking. So that's another issue that you have to deal with.
Wow. So in terms of how we can get our stories into the media, right? So we have some black media, we have black newspapers, certainly some black radio stations, we have some black-owned television networks even. How do we do a better job of getting our own stories into really our own media?
Right. So, we have to know that this is an issue that's affecting our community. And it's mind-boggling. We've been doing this for 11 years, and people are still surprised that this is happening in our community. So any media outlet, and that includes, black media outlets, need to start talking about these issues and talking about a solution. So it's not just the issue, but how do we solve it? How do we protect our communities? And, I think that's the way to get it done.
When I look at the people who are missing, who are covered, there seems to be a clear profile to me, right? I tend to see white females with blonde hair. Like they seem to be the people who are covered when they are missing. Am I missing something? Is that not the case? Is there something else that I'm not seeing?
Well, what you just talked about is called the white woman syndrome, where this person is deemed beautiful and, just needs rescuing. So that's what the media, those are the stories that the media tend to put out there. But our children are beautiful as well. And our women and our men are beautiful, and they matter, and they deserve awareness.
We're talking with Natalie Wilson. She's the co-founder and chief operations officer of the Black and Missing Foundation. What cases are you and your organization tracking right now?
Well, we're tracking a number of cases. Ariana Fitz is a case that has been mind-boggling. She's out of San Francisco. Her mother was found deceased a couple of years ago in a park, and this child has disappeared, and her family believes that she's still alive. We're also tracking another case, Anaya Blanchard, who is missing out of Alabama. This morning I was posting cases. There's a young 13-year-old Boy Scout from Brooklyn who is missing. So please, if your listeners or your audience can go to our website at BAMFI.org and see the faces of those individuals that are missing from around the country and within your community, because they may hold the key to finding them and bringing them home.
Give it to us again. What is it?
So it's BAMFI.org.
Okay.
That's BAMFI.org.
All right. That's B as in boy, A as in Andrew, M as in Mary, F as in Frank, I as in indigo, right? So
that's correct.
Okay, BAMFI.org, and that's where you can find more information about those who are black and missing and support their efforts to find them. So I want to thank you so much for your call this morning and just for updating us on this very important information. It's critical to us. So thank you.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. That's Natalie Wilson. She's co-founder and chief operations officer of the Black and Missing Foundation. And you can check them out. You can go to BAMFI.org. That is B as in boy, A as in Andrew, M as in Mary, F as in Frank, I as in indigo.org. And find out more about those who are missing from our community. So we've been talking about a whole lot this morning, Kawesa, from people who are missing to our propensity to boycott and protest against our own stuff when we won't do the same thing to other people's stuff. And I'm thinking about the Harriet movie, and I keep seeing this, online. Just over and over and over again. I was going to let it go. But I just keep seeing people doing this, and I'm wondering, when are y'all going to boycott some white stuff? When are y'all going to boycott some other people's stuff? Why do we only boycott our own? I mean, I've never seen anything like it. Other people don't do this to their own, especially when our own is so few and far between. Now, granted, it's not perfect. And if your reason is, I don't think it's historically accurate, I don't like it, okay, that's fine. A, make your own. B, you decide you're not going to go see it. You're not going to go support it. But I think we do have to also consider that you have a black female producer, a black female director, a black female writer, a black female star, and you got brothers saying don't go see it. I mean, it's an ugly look to me, right? Especially when black women support so much of what we do, support our whole household when we won't or don't, right? And this is not to say that this is always the case, because there's a lot of brothers out there handling their business. But I mean, for us to stand up against black women and say, nah, we not going to support this, I just think it's an ugly look, right? Now, again, I think that those who don't agree with it certainly have the right to do so. But I just want us to think critically. I want us to think a little bit deeper. I want us to think about, what it is we are doing, why we are doing it, and who gave us the idea to do it. Because, again, when I look at stuff online, I'm always suspicious, right? I'm very suspicious of what I see online, because anybody could put a black face on a profile and be like, yeah, I'm Jamal. Nah, you Boris from Moscow. Get out of here. You ain't, you know what I mean? Like, who are you? I don't know you. I ain't never seen you. And here you are trying to tell me to do something that could be harmful to us. Now, understand the other argument, that it's not historically accurate, that there are characters in it that are made up. Well, that's anything that's based on a true story. You're going to have some stuff in there that they have put in there in order to connect the story together. It make black men look bad because you got a black male bounty hunter in there. Well, guess what? We wouldn't have been enslaved if black people didn't help. That's real talk. I've been to Ghana. I've walked through the slave castles, right? And there were black people helping them to enslave other black people. That happened. When the fugitive slave law was passed, there were black people who were hunting down or kidnapping other black people and delivering them into slavery for money. You had a whole gang that was operating out of the Maryland area that would use black people to kidnap black children and deliver them into slavery. Like, that's real. That character might not be a real person, but that phenomenon was absolutely real. And I think if we are willing to boycott our own stuff, then when have we boycotted anybody else's? Y'all tell me, when did we boycott a white movie? Please let me know. Give me a call. And again, if you anybody who doesn't like it, you don't like it, you think, we need to be, I respect your opinion. I just have a different point of view. So I want to hear from you. Give me a call. 215-634-8065 is the number. Let's go to Zaren from Germantown on line 1. Go ahead.
Good morning, Brother Solomon.
Good morning.
All right, I just wanted to speak on the piece about the missing children.
Yes.
Now here in Philadelphia, we don't differentiate between runaways and actually missing. It's
Okay.
just one report.
Okay.
Now, what did detectives decide to do with it once it reached the division? I don't know, because we do ask, have they been missing before? When was the last time they done this? And what areas they like to frequent? Now, if it happens to be they do this on a frequent basis, I don't know, once it reaches the detective division, how they handle it.
Okay.
But we don't separate runaways from actually missing. It's always, it doesn't matter if you have, same thing with elderly. If they have dementia or anything like that, we don't separate. A missing person is a missing person.
Okay.
In fact, if it's an elderly or if it's a child, it becomes a tender age. So it puts a little more precedence on it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't, like I said, that's here in Philly. I don't know how it is in the rest of the United States.
Zaren, thank you, man.
All right, brother.
I appreciate them facts. So we're going to go to break. On the other side, we're going to continue to take your calls. Jeff from Center City, Cynthia from Winfield. If you want to get in, it is 215-634-8065. I'm Solomon Jones. We'll be right back.
Reality Check. Reality Check. Hosted by Charles Ellison. Monday through Thursday, 4 p.m. till 7 p.m. Right here on Word Radio. 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD. Streaming live on WordRadio.com.
When is the last time your doctor spent time with you, listening to your concerns and answering your questions? Do you feel like your doctor and their staff truly care about you and your health? Let me tell you about my visit to dedicated senior medical centers. First, they focus exclusively on senior health care. Second, the doctors spend more time with their patients because when they know you better, they can help you feel your best. They've even partnered with Philabundance to help seniors determine if they qualify for free monthly food boxes. They truly care about their patients. They also offer services like door-to-doctor transportation, on-site lab work and medications, acupuncture, and weekly health and wellness classes. So, if you are a loved one or Medicare eligible and you'd like the time and attention you deserve from your doctor, call Dedicated Senior Medical Center to schedule a free tour. Call 267-443-1900. That's 267-443-1900. Dedicated Senior Medical Centers.
Support independent black media and join the Forward movement now at 215-425-7875 or visit wordradio.com.
Wincoat Wellness is changing the way the world ages by redefining home care. Wincoat Wellness makes it possible to achieve independent living through companion care. If you or someone you know has a loved one who is in need of home care services, the enrollment process is seamless. Give them a call at 215-277-5914 to begin enrollment with their dedicated team or home care associates, and before you know it, you'll be receiving care. Call now, 215-277-5914.
Word family, listen up. Tuesday, November 12th, join Word for Sassy Seniors. Broadcasting live from the West Oak Lane Senior Center located at 7208 Ogons Avenue. We're calling all our sassy seniors to come out and join me, Dr. Aaron Smith, the rapping professor, from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Sassy Seniors is an event honoring our seniors and providing fun, food, resources, information, and more. Halana Warren from Daybreak with Word will also be there with chair yoga and mindful meditation activities. Sponsored by Oak Street Health, United States Census, and Keystone First VIP First. See you Tuesday, November 12th at the West Oak Lane Senior Center from 10 a.m. to noon. Sassy Seniors!
It's Wake Up with Word, hosted by Solomon Jones. Right now on Word Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD.
Good morning. morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD. We're talking about a number of things this morning. Some people are boycotting Harriet. Some people are not. I want to know where you are on it and why we keep boycotting our own. So I want to hear from you. 215-634-8065 is the number. Also talking about Veterans Day. I want you to shout out those who have served, those who have put their lives on the line for this country, for their families, for their communities, because I think we need to give them their just due. So we're talking about that as well. And if you want to get in, it's 215-634-8065. Jeff from Center City is on line 2. Good morning, Jeff.
Good morning, Solomon. Enjoying your broadcast today.
Thank you.
I have a question and a comment. I haven't seen that movie yet, but I'm definitely going to go see it. And because I always agree with your viewpoint and your opinion, do you think the movie's accurate? And when I leave the theater, I should say, yeah, that's accurate, and that's good.
There are some parts to it that are accurate. There are some parts to it that are not. There are some parts to it that are fictionalized, and that tends to be the case when a movie is based on a true story, right? There are some characters in there who are fictionalized. The gist of the story, though, is true. Harriet Tubman was somebody who escaped from slavery. She is somebody who went back numerous times, who brought back at least 70 slaves, and then went back and led an armed group of Union soldiers, black Union soldiers, to rescue 750 more. All of those things are true. And so, yes, the gist of the story is true, but certainly there are some fictionalized parts that are put in to weave together the story.
Well, that's good. Now, one other question. I was probably 10 years old when Roots came out. Do you think that was an accurate movie, or do you think that was, not correct?
Well, I think the gist of it was probably true. It depicted slavery in a way that we had never seen it before. I think that its depiction of the brutality of slavery was true. And that was my takeaway from it, because I was a kid. And that was my takeaway, like, wow, wait, this is how it was? And it really was an eye-opener for me. So that was the important part of it for me.
You and I think, are about the same age, and I remember after seeing that series back in maybe the 70s.
Yep.
I felt terrible as a white human being. I really did. It affected me ever since. But I always love listening to your show.
Thank you.
And I'm going to go see the movie. Thank you.
Thank you, man. We appreciate your call, Jeff, this morning on WURD Radio. I want to hear from you. Give us a call. 215-634-8065 is the number. That's 215-634-8065. It's a beautiful day outside, Kawesa. Just a beautiful day. And so yesterday it was really cold. Today I woke up, it was kind of cold. I had on my winter coat yesterday. I was scared to take off my winter coat today because, first of all, my wife is sick. She coughing. You know what I mean? I'm trying to cover up and think about putting on masks and all of that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? But just really a beautiful day outside today. So I still got on my winter coat. I think about my mom on days like this. Boy, you better not take off that coat. You better keep that coat on. It's still wintertime, that kind of stuff. So shout out to Carolyn Jones, who raised me. We appreciate and love her. But I want to hear from you. Give us a call at 215-634-8065. That's 215-634-8065. That is the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. Let us know where you are on any of these things we are talking about on this morning's show. We are, of course, talking about the movie Harriet. There are those of us who are boycotting the movie and saying, oh, it's not historically accurate, and certainly they have taken some poetic license with the story. But the gist of the story is true, that Harriet Tubman escaped from slavery, that Harriet Tubman went back to rescue at least 70 more slaves, and that she led an armed group of colored soldiers to then rescue another 750 slaves, that she served as a spy during the Civil War, that she was part of the Underground Railroad and worked with a real person, William Still, here in the city of Philadelphia, and that Philadelphia had a free black society, a whole community of free black people in South Philadelphia. That is where our community was centered at the time. And also that black people, when the Fugitive Slave Act was passed, responded in sometimes armed resistance to that. You know what I mean? Like, that's empowering. Now, the rest of the stuff, if, there's some stuff in there that's fictionalized, what you mad for? And if you don't like it, make your own. That's where I'm at. I'm kind of at the point where it's like, you know what? With the internet, there are some things that we can do for ourselves to tell our own stories, however it is we want to tell them. And I think we should do that. I think we should take advantage of that, right? To be able to tell our own stories in our own way for our own benefit. If you don't like it, tell your own story. And I think we should do it. I think we should absolutely do that. I would love to see more versions of this story, right? Coming into the, into the atmosphere. I would love to see that. So I want to hear from you. Give us a call, 215-634-8065. That's 215-634-8065. That is the number you can call to get in on the conversation. Let's go to Madeline Dunn from Overbrook on line 1. Go ahead, Miss Dunn.
Thank you, sir, for taking
You're
the
welcome.
call. Listen,
Mm-hmm.
you are absolutely right on this. And Comcast is horrible. I'm just going to leave that on the side. But if you want to boycott, that's who they need to be boycott. Because that brother, he got it from a brother.
Mm-hmm.
We old people, we pushed that we would get a part of the contracts for the cable.
Mm-hmm.
City. And the black guy that got it, didn't even have it a couple of years. He just took it and sold it to, what was it, David Cohen. David Cohen was the big guy around here, the big cheese under Ed Rendell.
Mm-hmm.
And he sold it to him. Or they did whatever they did, and it wound up being called Comcast. It got to be absolutely horrible, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So if we want to boycott something, that is something to really boycott. They call him the smooth one, who's all over the world now. I mean, I want to know when people call, where they calling from? When they're selling something? And they in Florida, they are in Asia, they're in India. Well, why can't we get jobs here in Philadelphia?
Mm-hmm.
Philadelphia is the people who are paying the bills. We need the bill. We need it here. We need it here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Get jobs here.
All right. I want to thank you so much for your call this morning on WURD Radio. If you want to get in, it is 215-634-8065. That's 215-634-8065. That is the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. Let us know where you are on any of these things we are talking about on this morning's show. 215-634-8065. Let's go to Ricardo from Yaden on line 3. Go ahead, Ricardo.
Hey, Solomon, how you doing?
I'm good, brother. How are you?
Good. I'm okay. First, I'd like to tip my hat to all the veterans, all of them.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Thank them.
Yep.
Number 2, I'm 75 years old, and the movie I remember that was boycotted was Elizabeth Taylor. She played in it, Cleopatra. That was in the early 60s, right? That's the last time I remember a movie being boycotted.
Early 60s?
Early 60s.
Black people boycotted that?
Black people, well, black and white boycotted.
Why?
Well, because they were letting them know who Cleopatra was and what she was. She was from Africa. She was black. That's why they were protesting it, from what I remember.
Okay. Well, let's see. I don't remember that. I wasn't around then. So.
But since then, I don't remember any other movie being protested.
Okay.
But what I want to say to you also, thank you for bringing what you're bringing out about Philadelphia and that free black society that helped the slaves.
Yep.
Did all that. I mean, I think you calling names, and there's so many other names to be attached to that story.
That's right.
I mean, not Bayard Ruskin, but Cato.
Mm-hmm.
And his fiance at the time, when he was assassinated, his fiance went on to become a abolitionist. She worked for the civil rights movement. She did everything. I mean, then there was can't think of his name. He's at 16th and Mount Vernon. You called his name.
Yeah, James Fortin. Robert Purvis. That's right, Robert Purvis.
All those men.
Yep.
Richard Allen.
Yep.
Russell Jones.
Yep.
So you're telling the story. and you don't even realize you're telling the story, but you're doing a good job.
Thank you, brother.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that, and thank you for your call this morning on WURD Radio. Let us go back to the phone lines. We want to hear from you. Let's go to Olanian from Nicetown on line 2. Go ahead, Olanian.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm calling because I'm not necessarily speaking about the same movie, but I remember when there was a movie called The Color Purple. And
yes.
Some people criticized it, and even though the criticism came out, it's irrelevant because the writer is allowed to put some fiction in it. And The Color Purple, what was criticized was the
Color Purple was all fiction.
Yeah, well, the airplane that the lady got on when she came back to America was portrayed as being an African-owned airline.
Mm-hmm.
That airline wasn't available back in the years that The Color Purple was portraying.
Okay.
So that's a writer's right to put fiction mixed in with a story.
Okay. But The Color Purple was based on a novel. A novel, by definition, is fiction. And certainly when you do fiction, you're going to put in some real elements in order to make the story more believable. But The Color Purple was not purported to be a real nonfiction story.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you for having us call in today.
Absolutely. Thank you, Olanian. I appreciate that. Diane from North Philly is on line 1. Go ahead, Diane.
Hi, Solomon.
Hi.
First of all, I want to say that I took my granddaughters to see it, and when we were coming into the theater, it was a lot of white people, more white than black, going to see the movie. The movie was phenomenal.
Okay.
And when another race look at us, they don't say, "Oh, they're from this person, they're from this country, they're from that country, so they're better." No, they look at black as black.
Yep.
She did a phenomenal job, and why should we diminish anything that Harriet Tubman did? Because they made a phenomenal movie, something that these children should be proud of. I think every school in this Philadelphia who's going through all of this stress should go and see it, and we have something to look up to. Black people, I don't believe all these black people are against another black person playing a role. If Harriet Tubman was alive, I think she would tell that young lady, "Well done."
All right.
Clap at the end of the movie.
All right.
We had a couple of clowns in there, but we certainly clapped at the end of the movie. I advise everybody to go and see it and judge for yourself.
All right. I want to thank you so much for your call this morning on WRD. Sheila from Overbrook is on line 4. Go ahead, Sheila.
Good morning, Solomon. I want to give a shout out to my brother, who's a veteran. He was naval.
Okay.
Navy. He's been out for a while now, but he was a cook in the Navy for a very long time, and he can thank my mom for that, because when my brother graduated from high school, he decided that he wasn't going to do anything. Well, old school, my mom would be 97 if she were alive, so I have to tell you how she handled that, right? I don't have to even go into detail, right?
Right. No, we already know.
When she crashed into his bedroom that morning, and she had enough, and stood over his bed with said weapon, and said, "I don't know where you're going, but you're getting out of here. So I suggest you go in the Army, Navy," and that's exactly what he did. And what a man! My brother's a man today. Married with a family and doing well, and he's close to 60 now. But Solomon, I want to say to you, and I really hope this doesn't sound I don't know, like I'm trying to suck up to you or anything, but I have to say that you have empowered me. Speaking of empowerment, like the movie, I'm really, really so glad that you came back to Word.
Thank you. Thank you, Sheila.
Honestly. And I know this is going to sound far out there, but you have given my life a new flair, like a new meaning almost. To be attached to a cause, a real cause, to really understand what black politics is about. I never really, really, really understood. I'm learning things, honestly, at 63, I never knew.
Wow.
And my mom was a grassroots politician. She worked hardcore. But I never understood. It's so many things I've learned. And I'm just glad that you're doing everything you're doing, because you've given a lot. Now, everybody's not going to call and say this, but you are walking straight up in your purpose. You are walking in your calling. And a friend of mine, I'm going to say this and hang up, a friend of mine said to me Friday, she said, you know what? She said, I'm afraid for Solomon. She said, I really want him to understand he can't do it all on his own. And I said, so-and-so, he can't not do this. This is his call. He can't not do it.
Sheila, I want to thank you so much for your call and for your encouragement and for your support. We appreciate you so much.
Yes.
So much. So thank you so much, and I appreciate all of that. And thankfully, I'm not doing it by myself. This station has been supportive. You have been supportive. So many people in the community have been supportive and helpful and stepped up, you know, whether I've asked them to or not, in order to help us to achieve what we need to do for our people. So we appreciate you and appreciate each and every one of our people who we love so much. So thank you. And we are going to go to break. And on the other side, we're going to talk with lawyer and critical race theorist Dr. Tim Golden about some of the stuff that's going on nationally. I'm Solomon Jones. We'll be right back.
At Dietz & Watson, we've spent over 75 years focusing on the details. This can be traced back to our founder, Gottlieb Dietz, who learned how to make franks and sausages the right way in Germany. Today, each one of our delicious offerings is meticulously crafted using perfected details. Because if it isn't good enough for our family, it isn't good enough for yours. To us, the details make all the difference.
Now's the time to get your home ready for any season with a Pico Energy Assessment. For just $25, a Pico Energy Advisor will come to your home and recommend ways to make your home more efficient and more comfortable year-round. Schedule your assessment today at pico.com/assessment or call 1-888-5-PICO-SAVE. That's pico.com/assessment or call 1-888-5-PICO-SAVE. Plus, you may be eligible for an assessment for free.
After October 1st, 2020, you'll need a Real ID driver's license or photo ID card or another TSA-approved form of ID to board a domestic flight or enter certain secure federal facilities. Getting your Real ID in Pennsylvania is quick and easy. Just gather up the required documents and bring them to your local PennDOT Driver License Center. Visit penndot.gov/realid or call 717-412-5300 to get started.
Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
Now, with more clarity, this is Word Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD Philadelphia.
Streaming live at wordradio.com.
This hour is brought to you by Enon Tabernacle Baptist Church. Visit enontab.org. Enon, a place where people encounter God.
It's Wake Up with Word, hosted by Solomon Jones.
Good morning.
Right now on Word Radio,
96.1 FM
and 900 AM WURD.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM and 96.1 FM WURD, and I want to welcome you back to Wake Up with Word. Our next guest, a great friend of the show, Dr. Tim Golden. He is a lawyer and critical race theorist, professor of philosophy, legal studies program coordinator, and director of the Donald Blake Center for the Study of Race, Ethnicity, and Culture at Walla Walla University. For 20 years, he was a criminal defense attorney in Philadelphia and in the federal courts. Tim, good morning.
Good morning, Solomon.
How you doing?
Thanks for having me on your show.
Oh, man.
I'm doing well. I'm doing well, man. I'm very grateful and blessed to see another day.
I know that's right. Me too, man. And thank you so much for joining us, as you always do on Mondays. So I need to talk about this whole impeachment thing and the whistleblower, because several people on Fox News have named the alleged whistleblower who told about the Trump phone call with the president of Ukraine that started the whole impeachment process. So I guess the first question I have is, why are there laws to protect a whistleblower's identity? And then, with the impeachment hearings about to go public, will that whistleblower's identity remain hidden?
Well, Solomon, the answer to the first question is that we have whistleblower laws because Congress has made a policy judgment, an informed policy judgment, that government works best when we have integrity in its processes. So whistleblower laws are designed to protect people who work closely with government and government agencies from reprisal, from any sort of retaliatory action when a person sees something that is unethical or illegal happening. The idea is that that person, according to the law, will be able to go through a process of informing others of what he or she has seen that they believe is unethical or illegal, and that they'll be able to go through that process without having to worry about losing their job or being threatened or having some other sort of retaliatory action taken against them. This is why it's part of the law that they remain anonymous.
Okay.
And the anonymity is built into the law in an attempt to protect them from any sort of retaliatory action or any sort of reprisal. So that's the reason why we have them. We have them because, again, Congress has made a policy judgment that government works best when it has integrity, and in order to ensure the integrity of government, we have to have a procedure that protects people who see illegal or unethical things happening so that it can be brought to the attention of government and handled the right way. So early on in this process, you've heard things like the whistleblower followed the law to the T.
Right.
And that's what people are talking about. There's a process outlined in law, depending on what government agency you work for, whereby if you see something, or if you see something that you think is illegal or unethical that's happening, you follow through with that process. Your anonymity is protected, and the government can take steps to correct the problem accordingly if it believes that the whistleblower's complaint is credible. And if it doesn't believe the complaint is credible, then the complaint theoretically would never get anywhere. And the problem for President Trump is that in this case, the whistleblower went through all of the required procedures and protocols, informed the proper authorities of what was happening, and as a result, by law, has to be protected. And here's what's interesting. At every stage of the process, the whistleblower's complaint was deemed to be credible. And now we know that it isn't just the whistleblower. There are at least, I would think, 5 to 7 other witnesses, independent of the whistleblower, who heard the same thing that the whistleblower heard.
Right.
And that there's evidence independent of those 5 to 7 people that other things were happening outside of the normal chain of command, that there was a shadow foreign policy, there was a back channel where Rudy Giuliani was the one making arrangements with the president to discuss anything about Ukraine. That was not supposed to go through vetted national security officials that have security clearances. Instead, that was supposed to go through the president's personal lawyer. So that's the basic idea behind whistleblower laws. And now that things go public, which I think was your second question, will the whistleblower's identity be known? Again, theoretically, no. It's not supposed to be known. And So I hope that it's not known, because if it is, then we've undermined our own processes.
Right. So that secrecy around the whistleblower's name, right? Because President Trump keeps saying, well, I have a right to see my accuser, and not in the whistleblower process, though. Because if the whistleblower, if anybody who put out something that was done that was illegal or whatever, and they could not have their identity protected, then you wouldn't know about some of this stuff, because people would be scared. I'm going to lose my job. Something might happen to me. Something might happen to my family. That's the reason. It's not only to protect them, but it's to protect all of us, isn't it?
Exactly. It would undermine the whole policy for the whistleblower statutes, right? If the policy is we have to have integrity in government, and in order to do that, we're going to protect the identity of people that come forward. If we allow that to happen, if we made the person's identity known, that would undermine the whole process. And here's the other point, Solomon. I practiced, as you say when you introduced me, I practiced criminal law in and around Philadelphia for over 20 years. That's a long time. And I can tell you, President Trump is not a criminal defendant. He's not a criminal defendant. Criminal defendants have a right to face their accuser. The president is not a suspect in a criminal investigation. The president is not on the other end of an indictment. The president is not facing prison time because of this. He's facing removal from office because of this. So let's just be clear about something. The rights that criminal defendants have, because they're about to lose their liberty, simply do not apply. The constitutional rights, right? I mean, the Sixth Amendment guarantees the right to confront and cross-examine witnesses.
Right.
That does not apply in this instance to a president who is on the verge of being impeached, who Congress is on the verge of impeaching. So they're two different proceedings. A criminal trial is different from the House of Representatives conducting an impeachment inquiry.
Yeah.
And so the president and all of the smoke and mirrors about I have rights, they treat criminals better than they treat me, blah, 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 that is all nonsense. Because this is not a criminal trial.
Right. And it's two different sets of rules for a criminal trial and an impeachment inquiry.
Yes.
So, this week the public hearings are supposed to start regarding the impeachment. And you just keep hearing people now. I've heard about it 2 or 3 times where people on Fox News have blurted out the person that they think is the whistleblower. And here's my question, because the Republicans are calling for the whistleblower to publicly testify, which would mean he would be outed, right? With the impeachment hearings about to go public, will his identity remain hidden? What do you think, Tim?
Well, I think it will remain hidden. I mean, if it does not remain hidden, then we have really compromised. We've taken this administration's disdain for the rule of law to a new low. If that happens, then we're really in bad shape. I would like to think that it wouldn't happen. I'm sure the people on Fox News who, Solomon, this, I don't know if you remember. I mean, I know you remember. Solomon, during the Reagan and Bush presidencies, all we heard about was the rule of law.
That's right. Constantly.
Right?
Constantly.
I mean, all we heard about was how important. I mean, I remember 1989 and 1988 in the sweltering summer heat of 88, spring, going into that hot summer. I remember President Bush, George Bush, in the Oval Office holding an evidence bag with crack cocaine, looking into the camera, talking about how terribly important it was for young people to stay away from drugs and how we had to uphold the rule of law, and we have to have judges who uphold the rule of law, and we have to make sure that we're tough on crime, and I mean that's all we heard. And now I'm sure Presidents Bush and Reagan are turning over in their graves because we have a president whose attitude toward law and lawfulness and legal systems and process is frankly just disgraceful.
Yeah, it is.
He has absolutely no regard for any of the things that the Republican Party has traditionally been made to stand for. So people on Fox News, I don't know, it's almost as though in this day and age of nonstop media where all you have to do is tap your phone, you can get whatever sort of news reinforces your worldview.
That's right.
And if your worldview is already askew, you're just constantly reinforcing your wrong ideas about the world. And so people who do that, right, the people on conservative media outlets who do that, and by the way, certain progressive media outlets
That's right.
can be guilty of the same thing.
Yep.
Right? So it isn't just conservative voices, because there are problems, there are ideological problems on both sides of this fence.
I agree.
We can just tap our phones and we can reinforce these bad ideas, and we can convince ourselves that the world is a way that it is not. And we walk around in a morass of self-deception, believing that everybody else is wrong but us. And so the people who are on the other side of that are the ones who really control politics.
Yeah.
They control politics. They control the narrative. And what's so dangerous about this entire process is this is yet another attempt of the president to solicit the aid of a foreign government in an American election.
Right, which he did in 2016.
Which happened in 2016.
That's right.
I mean, Solomon, everyone heard Robert Mueller. Robert Mueller, you talk about integrity, right? Now, I've never been a fan of law and order Republicans because I think they have race problems and so forth. But listen, let's just be honest. Robert Mueller, when he says in the Mueller report and when he testified before Congress, he said, if I could have exonerated the President of the United States of America, I would have.
That's right. That's right.
And the only reason the president, it was crystal clear, the only reason the president was not prosecuted was because of a Justice Department directive that says you should not prosecute a sitting president. That's it. That's it, Solomon. That's it. That's what this comes down to. Now, President Trump can try to spin that into an exoneration, but that's just a load of nonsense, right? And so, you know, what happens? He said I could stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot someone.
Sure did.
And nobody would know it. Well, he shot people on Fifth Avenue, and we've seen it happen now. And he's got just enough rope to the point where he's prepared to hang himself, and it'll be interesting to see what happens going forward. But God help us if the whistleblower's identity.
Yeah.
That's all I can say.
I know that's right.
This whole process has gotten way out of control.
Now, we're talking, of course, with Dr. Tim Golden, lawyer and critical race theorist. You brought up two presidents. You brought up Bush and Reagan and their propensity for always talking about law and order, and Donald Trump's just complete disdain for law and order when it comes to him and his administration. What if this was President Obama? That's the president I keep thinking about. If this was Obama trying to do this, what do you think the response would be?
Solomon, it would never have got this far.
No, not at all.
It would never have got this far. It would never have got this far. If President Obama would have, this is what would have happened. The allegations that President Trump has, say for example, the allegation that President Trump paid off a porn star to keep her mouth shut. If President Obama would have gone down on that allegation alone, and it would have been another instance of trying to validate the stereotype of the hypersexual black buck, the black male. And it would have been a way to denigrate black men everywhere, and President Obama would have likely been impeached over whatever litigation had ensued with Stormy Daniels. And that would have been it.
Yeah.
It would have never, it would not have to take an international scandal to take down the president. President Clinton was taken down because of a sexual dalliance.
That's right.
Right? And the same thing would have happened to President Obama. President Obama, you know, I say to myself sometimes when I think about his presidency, boy, he must have been squeaky clean.
Had to be.
Because if there was anything
That's
that
right.
they could have used, that could have been used against him, it would have been used. And he must have been, I said to myself the other day, he must have been squeaky clean.
Yeah.
Because anything would have been used against him. And so that's what I think would have happened. And this president has really, he has really gotten, I mean, he's not lying. He really has gotten away with a lot. He really could stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody. And he has approached his presidency in that way.
Well, I want to thank you. That is Dr. Tim Golden. He's professor of philosophy, legal studies program coordinator, director of the Donald Blake Center for the Study of Race, Ethnicity, and Culture at Walla Walla University. For 20 years, he was a criminal defense attorney in Philadelphia and in the federal courts. Tim, thanks so much.
Thanks for having me, Solomon.
All right. We are going to go to break. And on the other side, we're going to take your calls at 215-634-8065. I'm Solomon Jones. We'll be right back.
If you want to start your morning with mindfulness, motivation, and inspiration, tune in to Daybreak with me, Halana, here on WURD Radio, Monday through Friday from 6 to 7 a.m. I'm a health and wellness coach with over 15 years experience helping people to transform their lives. On the show, we talk health and wellness 360, from getting your mind right to getting your money right. So let's rise and shine together right here on WURDradio.com, 96.1 FM, 900 on your AM dial on Daybreak every morning.
A routine is a good thing to have. And sometimes a routine is a good thing to break. Take a break and start your morning at McDonald's. For a limited time, get a tasty bacon, egg, and cheese McGriddles or a flaky bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit for just $2 each. Because if you don't deserve a morning that's a little easier and a lot tastier, who does? Price and participation may vary, cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Word Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM. WURD.
Word family, listen up. Tuesday, November 12th, join Word for Sassy Seniors. Broadcasting live from the West Oak Lane Senior Center located at 7208 Ogonce Avenue. We're calling all our sassy seniors to come out and join me, Dr. Aaron Smith, the rapping professor, from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Sassy Seniors is an event honoring our seniors and providing fun, food, resources, information, and more. Halana Warren from Daybreak with Word will also be there with chair yoga and mindful meditation activities. Sponsored by Oak Street Health, United States Census, and Keystone First VIP First. See you Tuesday, November 12th at the West Oak Lane Senior Center from 10 a.m. to noon. Sassy Seniors!
Kulu Mele. Join Kulu Mele African Dance and Drum Ensemble, 8 o'clock p.m. Saturday, November 30th at the Annenberg Center for the Performing Arts, 3680 Walnut Street, for the spellbinding world premiere of Ogun and the People in celebration of their 50th anniversary. Purchase your tickets at the Annenberg by calling 215-898-3900 or go to kulumele.org. And for group discounts, call 215-462-7720. Kulu Mele.
You're waking up with Word, hosted by Solomon Jones.
Good morning.
Right now on Word Radio,
96.1 FM
and 900 AM WURD.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD. Outstanding. I remember I used to make beats, Kwesa. Right? Why are you laughing?
It's just so funny.
You trying to imagine me?
Yeah, I am.
Look, there's a whole lot of
I can see
stuff.
it, though. I can see it.
There's a whole lot of stuff I've done that you could never imagine. But anyway, but yeah, I used to make beats, and I know my mom is listening, so I know she's laughing. That's one of the beats I sampled, right? I would sample it, and I would put it into a Roland 909 drum machine. And then I would put, some bass and some snares and some hi-hats over it in order to make it into a hip-hop beat. And I know that's probably one of the songs that drove my mom crazy because I spent a whole lot of time sampling that. And rather than listening through headphones, right, I would just play it through the speakers. So she, in her room, like going crazy, like, I wish this boy turned this thing off. Shout out again to my mom, man. I'm thinking about all of that stuff that we have been through, man, and just love her to death. So 215-634-8065 is the number that you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. Let's go to Brother O'Kang from Chapel Manor is on line 1. Go ahead, Brother O'Kang.
Hotep, peace and many blessings to you and your Solomon Jones and to all the URD family. Thank God for URD.
Mm-hmm.
Most definitely.
Yes.
Yeah, and this is the day set aside for we veterans, huh? Yeah, it's something that
Yeah, happy Veterans Day to you, Brother O'Kang.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you. I mean, I spent many days in the woods over in Korea, down in Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. It's all good, though. It's all good.
No doubt.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, happy Veterans Day, man, and thank you so much for your service, brother.
Sure.
We appreciate you, Brother O'Kang. Thank you so much. Let's go back to the phone lines, and let's talk to our next caller, who is Tyrone from North Philly on line 2. Go ahead, Tyrone.
Yes, peace and blessings, my brother.
Same to you.
And love and respect to my WURD family.
Mm-hmm.
Brother Solomon, first let me just give, honor to my dad, who's a veteran.
Yes.
Mr. Steve Wilder, who's right now one of my number one partners, and Jay Simon. They are brothers that, thank God, made it through the wars, because they were definitely in the wars. So thank God for that. But
Yes.
Brother Solomon, if you don't mind me just speaking to the movie.
Yeah, go ahead.
Every second Thursday, we take our seniors and more and mature adults to the movies just to give them a chance to cool out. And one of the things that I have noticed over the years in doing this, the movies like The Help, King, and now Harriet are the movies where we get the most attendance.
Yes.
So, regardless of the storyline, the idea is that when it's about our people come out and support that movie.
Yes.
And if you don't mind me just closing with this, Brother Solomon, on Reverend Niles' show, and they was talking about how we deal with one another. This is the comparison of what's going on right now in the White House, how those folks, regardless of what come at them or what they do, they kind of rally around one another. But when it comes to us, Solomon, we are so hard on one another. It's like, we look for the moment to have something to say, to pull, or to say or do to pull one another down. And that we just got to stop doing, because we got too many things, particularly with our children dying in the street.
Yeah, no doubt. And I want to thank you so much, Tyrone, and thank you for your call this morning on WURD Radio. Let's go to Viola from Millsboro, Delaware, on line 3. Go ahead. Good morning.
Veterans Day to everyone out there. My husband served 20 years in the Army Reserve, and he was also in the Army during the Vietnam War. He went to Korea. He was a medic in the evacuation hospital in Seoul, Korea.
Okay.
I have a granddaughter who's in the Army National Guard, and I have a grandson that joined the Navy. He's 6'8".
Wow.
Everybody's asking me, how is he in a ship? I said, they put him in there. He's stationed in Norfolk, Virginia.
Okay.
My stepdad and his brother from Denton, Texas, were in the Navy back in the 40s, and my stepdad landed in Philadelphia, and he met my mother and married her when I was 3 years old. So therefore, I wouldn't have known him if it wasn't for that. And he was a good stepdad. I say that because I never say stepfather. But anyone out there that had a bad stepdad, I would always step up to the plate and let them know that I had a great stepdad that took care of me and gave me away when I got married. And, I can't thank him enough for what he did in my life.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as the movie Harriet, I went to see it. I thought it was very good.
Mm-hmm.
I learned a little bit more about Harriet Tubman that I didn't learn in school. And we still need the support, because I was sitting back thinking about the same thing a guy said about Charlton Heston, because I'm from that era when those movies came out, and Cleopatra.
Yeah.
Yes. When I went to the Institute, when I went to the Franklin Institute, when they had King Tut and all of that artifact stuff there,
yeah,
I saw white folks. I stood back and waited to see their reactions of different things, because many of them had no idea that they were black folks.
Mm-hmm.
But if
Mm-hmm.
Ethiopians are black today, they were black in the Bible. So certain things you cannot change.
Mm-hmm.
But I just wanted to put that out there based on Veterans Day, and hope that those that are suffering and have hardships because they were a veteran, I hope that the good Lord shines down on them and give them a bright star, in the sense that they served their country and they did what they thought they were supposed to do back in those days.
All right.
I thank you, Solomon.
Thank you.
You're all of that.
Thank you, Viola. I appreciate you, and thank you so much for your call this morning on WURD Radio. Folks are weighing in on Facebook. CG Chambers says this: thank you, Solomon, for being a voice of truth and reason. I will always support black filmmakers, directors, and producers, knowing that movies based on a true story are just that, a base. We can research and obtain our own historical facts. If we want to boycott something, boycott Popeyes and that damn chicken sandwich. So that is CG Chambers, and that is their point of view on this whole thing. And I want to hear from you, 215-634-8065. But I want to hear first from Kawesa. Kawesa, have you had the Popeyes chicken? I know you dieting.
Nope.
You haven't. You haven't had the chicken sandwich.
I marked myself safe from eating this chicken sandwich.
Yo.
Listen, I can't. Like, I'm starting to really feel some type of way now. Like, I'm like, yo, I'm not gonna go. And I can't. But I think that I want to wait. I want to wait for the hype to die down, because when you mass produce things, they don't make it with as much love and compassion and care. And you can taste that in the sandwich when that happens. And
no,
so
that sandwich good, man. I had one. So I had it the first time it came out, maybe, I don't know, at this point, maybe 2 months ago. But I went, and the line was long then. I went to the one up on Cheltenham Avenue in Philadelphia, across from the Cedarbrook Mall. The line was long then, but it wasn't to the point where people was rumbling. You know what I'm saying? But you know what? You're right. I mean, maybe as they, continue to make it, maybe it won't be as good, but maybe I got one of the first ones. That Joe was like, Now, do you intend to ever get one?
I think that if I do, I'll split it. Like, my mom and I will probably split it. I don't want to sit here and be like, oh, eat the whole thing, because I want to. I really do, but
right.
I know that I should not.
Right.
But I probably will have it. I just kind of want to wait for some of this to die down.
I don't blame you. People getting body slammed at Popeyes.
Like, I don't need that.
People getting stabbed at Popeyes. Like, I mean, for real. Like, come on, man. At some point, we gotta do better. So I'm gonna go back to the phone lines and talk to Ann from Logan. Ann from Logan is on line 1. Go ahead, Ann.
Good morning, Solomon.
Good morning.
Now, listen, your last caller, when she said that she had a relative that was 6'8", It made me think about David Robinson, who played for the San Antonio.
That's right. He was in the Navy.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, because I think he said eventually he had to get out of the service because he was so tall.
Okay.
So yeah. I thought about that. But when you were talking to Tim Golden, what came to my mind is I was listening to the Al Sharpton show, and a caller called in, and he said what Donald Trump did with Ukraine, it was basically extortion. And so I thought in my mind, I said, here you have a president who is in charge of the people's money while telling people it's none of your business about his own money with his income tax and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so I thought it was so deep because there were 3 NBA coaches who were really speaking out against President Trump. The Golden State Warriors coach, I forgot his name. Is it
Steve Kerr.
Yeah, Steve Kerr, that's
Mm-hmm.
right. Steve Kerr, you had Greg Popovich, and you had one of the Gundy brothers. They were really speaking out about Trump ways. But Greg Popovich got to the point, and he said he's at a loss for words.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything like this. And we gotta move. We gotta move on because we got a bunch of people holding. We got a guest coming up. So I'm gonna let you go. But thank you so much for your call and for making that point. Ed from Willingboro is on line 4. Go ahead, Ed.
Yeah, I'm just going to let me give just a little bit of history here now. Cleopatra is actually mentioned in the Apocrypha. Did you know that? In
No.
Maccabees?
No.
Yeah. Let me just read this real quick, then I hang up here. So Ptolemy set out from Egypt, he and his daughter Cleopatra, and came to Ptolemais in the 162nd year. King Alexander met him, and Ptolemy gave his daughter Cleopatra in marriage and celebrated her wedding at Ptolemais with great pomp, as kings do. You know, we don't know why the white supremacist people, King James and the Roman Catholic Church, left the Apocrypha out, or if it was God-inspired. But the Apocrypha is very educational. I think we all need to read it. I think it's very good.
All right. I want to thank you for bringing up that point this morning on WURD. We're going to go to Don from West Philly on line 3. Go ahead, Don.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning, brother.
I want to give a shout out to my son, who's a veteran. When he was younger, he used to walk on the porch back and forth, and me and his mom used to look at him and say, "What's wrong with that boy?" He was like 5 years old. He'd go out there and say, I said, "What's wrong?" He said, "I want to fight. I want to fight." So we was laughing. So we dared him. He always wanted to be a Marine. He joined the Marine Corps during the Iraq War, and he volunteered to go over there and do a year. And I'm so proud of the boy. And he came out of his service, went straight to school.
All right.
So what I'm saying, you got children that are aggressive. It's got to be an active parent and director. Thank you.
Thank you, Don. I appreciate your call this morning on WURD. Let's go to Barbara from Camden on line 2. Go ahead, Barbara.
Good morning, Solomon.
Morning.
I just have one question, and it's about Harriet Tubman.
Okay.
And I think I heard someone say onWURD that was not her real name. And that's what I'm calling for, to find out what was her real name.
Well, in the movie, what was it? It was Araminta, right?
Araminta.
I believe that's what she said her real name was, Araminta.
Well, could you spell it for me?
I don't know how to spell it because I don't even know if it's right. I'm going to look it up now, and I'll let you know. Huh?
What was her last name, too?
Well, her married name was Tubman. She married a man named John Tubman.
Her birth name.
Okay, I'm trying to tell you I don't know. We looking it up. So when I find it, I'm going to say it over the air, but we're looking it up now, myself and Kawesa.
Okay, then I'll hang up.
All right.
Just listen.
All right. Well, I want to thank you so much for your call. But, yeah, we're trying to find her birth name. And Kawesa's looking it up. I'm looking it up. What you got, Kawesa?
I'm
Araminta
seeing
Ross.
Yeah. There you go.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It hit me just Araminta Ross.
Yeah.
That's her real
that
birth
is.
name. And lo and behold, that's what they said her real birth name was in the movie. So, again, when you have stuff that's based on a true story, it's just that. It's based on a true story. Like, not everything in it is going to be, down to the letter of what really happened. That's any movie, right? So, the interesting thing to me is that we are so angry about our own stuff, but we will not protest anybody else's. I ain't seen us protest no white movies ever. Not in my lifetime, I haven't seen it. Now, somebody called and said they protested Cleopatra when that came out. That was before I was born. But, I haven't seen it. And, what I would love to see us do, man, is really put our energy towards stuff that is going to uplift us as a people. And, we all have different ideas. We all have different points of view. And I respect everybody's point of view concerning our stories, our history, our people. Mine is just one. And my point of view is simply this. We need to support black folk. We're going to go to break. And on the other side, we are going to talk with our next guest. The North City Congress has been around for many, many years. They are going through something, and we are going to talk about it on the other side. My name is Solomon Jones. This is WURD. We'll be right back.
Brothers and sisters!
Don't miss The Source.
Weekdays, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m.
on WURD Radio.
WURDradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
My name is Denise Myers. I like the Dedicated Senior Center because of the feeling I got when I went there. I woke up that morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, I asked the Lord, if this center for me, let me feel some kind of connection. And when I went, I felt the connection of the love and all the hugs. I just felt that connection with that office. I love my doctor, Dr. Kumar. He has helped me in a lot of ways because I was on a lot of medication. And I felt tired and sleepy all the time. He took a lot of my medicine for me, and ever since then, I had plenty of energy and joy. And I just feel better, feel like I'm a young girl again. This is the place for you, because I have seen people, not only me got better, I see other people improving their health.
Experience the dedicated difference. Call for a free VIP tour. 267-443-1900. That's 267-443-1900. Dedicated Senior Medical Centers.
Be heard. Want another way to join the conversation?
Follow us on social media
using the hashtag onWURD.
Be heard.
Stay connected to WURD Radio.
Independent Black Media.
The newly reimagined Penn Museum, America's Museum of Ancient Worlds, right here in Philadelphia. Experience the history of the world as you've never seen it before. Come face to face with the largest Egyptian sphinx in the Western Hemisphere. Marvel at the 1,000-year-old Maya monuments. Explore the rare wonders of the far corners of the world, from ancient Egypt, Rome, and Greece to Japan, China, and the Middle East, all in a single day. And this fall, we're unveiling 2 stunning new galleries, one embarking upon an eye-opening journey through the extraordinarily diverse continent of Africa, and the other plunging you into the fascinating world of the ancient Americas, from Mexico through Central America. You'll see it only at the new Penn Museum. Bigger, brighter, and more exciting than ever. At the Penn Museum, discovery is closer than you think. Plan your trip today at pennmuseum.org.
Drive in
with Solomon Jones.
Drive home
with Charles Ellison.
This is WURD Radio, 96.1 FM
and 900 AM WURD.
Philadelphia, independent black media.
Back by popular demand.
It's Wake Up with WURD, hosted by Solomon Jones. Right now on WURD Radio,
96.1 FM
and 900 AM WURD.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM, 96.1 FM WURD. Our next guest is Joan Hardaway. Is it Joan or Joanne?
Joan.
Joan Hardaway is the executive director of North City Congress. They have worked with minority populations since their inception in 1963. Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Good. So I know North City Congress has been around for many years. And so tell me why it was founded in the 1960s.
North City Congress was founded as a federation of organizations to help small businesses in North Central Philadelphia. And so at that time, they were brought together to help small businesses grow. As we moved forward in the 70s, we started to provide services to seniors in our community in North Philadelphia.
Okay. And where was North City Congress located?
1438 North Broad Street. So we're at Broad and Jefferson for about 20-something years.
Yeah. Okay. Now, I remember riding past there. Now, was it where those brownstones are?
Yes, one of them beautiful brownstones.
Yep. I remember it. And rode past there for many years, saw it there. It was really a fixture in our community. So what has happened with the organization since its founding to help black businesses?
During the early years, after we moved into servicing the older population, we started not to grow and diversify our services. We mainly stayed with services to older adults, which is our mission. But over time, as funding shrinks, we began to struggle, and now we just provide senior services through the Department of Aging and Philadelphia Corporation for Aging. However, we are looking to grow our services for seniors as we move forward, but we have a little snafu right now.
Okay. And so the senior population, I believe, is growing. Is that right?
Yes, it is.
So what is that snafu? So you have a population that is growing. The organization, however, is not. And so what is it that you would like to do, and how can the community help you in that goal?
So we are a senior center on the east side of North Central Philadelphia, right there at 8th and Poplar, 827 North Franklin Street.
Okay.
And we have moved from Broad Street because we wanted to create a facility that was more conducive for the new senior.
Okay.
So right now we have a center that has like a yoga room, a gym, a theater room. So we're really gearing our services to all seniors 55 and plus. However, because we just moved and people were used to us being on Broad Street, we're trying to get the word out to get people in the doors, because we do have a mandate from our funder that we need to provide services, increase our service numbers, especially around the free lunches that the state and Philadelphia Corporation for Aging provide for us. So right now we're only servicing about 40 people a day for free lunches, and we're trying to get people in the door to take advantage of this great service, where we need to try to service about 70 to 100 people a day.
You said 827 North Franklin Street?
827 North Franklin.
So that's right above Girard Avenue. That's in a gentrifying community. That community is rapidly gentrifying.
Yes, it is.
Right? And so can people be transported there? Can they use some of the services for the disabled and stuff in order to get to that center in that community?
So the senior centers are not just geared to one area. Anyone from throughout Philadelphia can come to our senior center. And one of the luxuries that we have through the Department of Aging and Philadelphia Corporation for Aging, we can provide transportation through CCT.
Okay. So if somebody wants to come to your center and they live in a different part of the city, they can call you and you can set up their transportation for them to get there.
Yes, we can.
And it sounds like you have some facilities there that are different from what other senior centers have. You have, sounds like some upper echelon stuff there at North City Congress.
We really try to put a lot of emphasis into trying to be innovative with our approach to providing services to seniors. So yes, we do have the gym, we do have a movie theater. It's about a 12-seater movie theater. We have a pool area, and we also have rooms where you can do yoga. We also have a meditation room also.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So all of those things are available for seniors. So do you see yourself evolving as an organization and maybe trying to do some additional things in addition to what you're already doing?
Well, right now we're definitely trying to diversify and increase our ability to become fiscally broader. And so now we have expanded our services to home care services.
Okay.
And we're also looking eventually to have mental health services for seniors.
Okay. So North City Congress, now located at 827 North Franklin Street, serving our senior population. Can you give us a number that people can call in order to get in touch with you?
215-978-1300.
Okay. Give it to us one more time.
215-978-1300.
All right, so that's 215-978-1300. Get in contact with them if you are a senior who is looking for services, who's looking for a 12-seat movie theater. Look, I might come down there. What's playing? You know what I mean? So just sounds like you guys are doing wonderful things, and certainly our seniors need it, and we want to be supportive of that. So one more time, what's that number?
215-978-1300.
All right. Well, I want to thank you so much for joining us this morning. We want to make sure that our seniors know of everything that is available to them. And so North City Congress now at 827 North Franklin Street. That's a block north of Girard Avenue.
A block south.
About block south of Girard Avenue. So go down there, check them out. I believe I was on that block just the other day. As a matter of fact, it's around the corner from my mother's church. Mount Tabor AME is right down there in that area as well. So certainly there's a couple of senior facilities right there in that area.
Yes.
Y'all better go and...
We've been knocking on that door.
Look here. So Joan Hardaway, I want to thank you so much for joining us this morning on WRD.
Thank word.
All right. All right. So she is, of course, the executive director of North City Congress. They work with our population since 1963. They're now doing senior services. You want to make sure you get down there and take advantage of that. And if you live in one of those senior facilities that I'm thinking about, that's right around the corner, go and stop by. They're at 827 North Franklin Street. We want to make sure that our long-term organizations and institutions in our community have the support they need in order to survive. So take advantage of that. We want to hear from you. Give us a call at 215-634-8065. That's 215-634-8065. That is the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. We are going to go to the phone lines, and we're going to talk with our next caller in just a minute. It is Margaret. Margaret is on line 1. Go ahead, Margaret.
Good morning, Mr. Solomon.
Good morning.
I want to thank you for all that you have done, been doing for years and now.
You're welcome.
When you call Elijah's name out, in the morning you call one of our young Iraq widow's son, Elijah. They laughed about it. My nephew was born November the 5th on election day. He laughed. His name was Elijah.
Mm-hmm.
So they're all laughing with you, Elijah, okay?
Okay.
Thank you for that. And
you're welcome.
I represent the Gold Star Wives of America and around the world. I'm the president for the Mid-Atlantic region. I want to thank Ms. Beverly Lomax and the family of the Lomax family and all the members to be acknowledged as the president on this side. We will be down at Delaware Dock Street today honoring the World War II, the Korean War, Iraq, Afghanistan, and Saudi. We'll also be at the Vietnam Veterans Wall right behind there. So we have 2 ceremonies today, and I'll be on the platform to acknowledge the veterans. We want to thank all the people out there who have service. I am a daughter of a World War II veteran, David James Daniels, and my husband was Vietnam era, Bernard McLean. And I want to thank all the things that you have done to outreach, all the businesses who have come in, and I'm praying that they come in through WRIG, our family radio station, and help us to continue in the Black Indian Talk radio station. I love you all.
All right, thank you for your call this morning on WURD Radio. Let's go to Patrick from Kensington on line 2. Go ahead.
Man.
Good morning.
Hey, so I just wanted to, as Veterans Day, put this out there. Between 2008 and 2016, more than 54,000 U.S. veterans committed suicide in this country. And every single day, about 21 U.S. veterans commit suicide. So please reach out, to your friends who are vets. The PTSD is such a real thing. And so people who go through that, sometimes they just need help in hand. So I just want to put that out there and say, if you know any vets, give them a call today, thank them, but also give them a call, during non-vet Veterans Days and thank them. With just being there for them, because that's kind of the issue is people when they get alone, they think they're the only one, but there's so many people out there that need a conversation and that's all they need. So just reach out.
All right. Thank you, Patrick. And thank you for bringing up that point, because I think it's an important one and one that we need to focus on. I want to thank everybody who joined us on today's show, and what a show it was. As always, I want to thank our guest, Natalie Wilson of the Black and Missing Foundation, lawyer and critical race theorist Dr. Tim Golden, and Joan Hardaway of North City Congress. And now for super producer Kawesa Mathis and everyone here at WURD Radio, I am your host, Solomon Jones, saying stay tuned for The Source. They're up next, and tune in tomorrow at 7 for more Wake Up with Word. Peace.
This hour was brought to you by Enon Tabernacle Baptist Church. Visit enontab.org. Enon, a place where people encounter God.
Brothers and sisters!
Don't miss The Source.
Weekdays, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m.
on Word Radio.
WordRadio.com and the Word Radio app.
A routine is a good thing to have. And sometimes a routine is a good thing to break. Take a break and start your morning at McDonald's. For a limited time, get a tasty bacon, egg, and cheese McGriddles or a flaky bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit for just $2 each. Because if you don't deserve a morning that's a little easier and a lot tastier, who does? Price and participation may vary, cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Want the latest in Word swag?
Check out the shop tab on wordradio.com. Hoodies, tees, and more in a variety of colors. The shop tab on wordradio.com. Show the world that you're all about black.
Talk media.
Lifting every voice
Till earth and heaven ring.
This is Word Radio. 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD Philadelphia.
Black Talk Media.
The views and opinions expressed by the guests, listeners, and hosts of any program on Word Radio do not necessarily reflect those of ownership, management, or advertisers of this station.
You're listening to The Source, an eclectic arrangement